Hello and welcome. You're listening to Busted Outdoor Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Landis. All right, I appreciate you coming out. Hey, I know it's not far from where you are, but I really appreciate you coming out and taking the time to do this with me.
No, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start off from when you started in law enforcement. You were class of, I want to say 82, ILEA, is that correct?
Yes, 1985.
85, okay.
The 82nd class.
Now, when you started ILEA, was that for DNR or was that just for law enforcement in general?
No, I'd gotten hired by the Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division and had already completed our basic recruit training, and then we immediately transitioned into the basic Law Enforcement Academy training into the 82nd class. So,
Gotcha. So you've been a conservation officer for how many years?
I retired after not quite 31, just shy of 31 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I started young.
Yeah, well, that's good though. Yeah, a lot of experience, a lot of stories, a lot of funny stories.
Yeah, I've been told I probably should write a book.
Oh yeah,
I certainly got enough material for a book. I just don't know how many people A, would want to read it, and if they do read it, B, how many would actually believe it.
That's the hard part.
Right,
People believe in some of these stories.
Oh yeah,
because some are insane, absolutely insane. So 31 years in conservation. Was that southern part of the county, most of it?
Yeah, I spent all 31 years in the field as a field officer, and I spent it in the same district. This county here being one of those 9 counties.
Oh, okay.
But I was assigned primarily to Sullivan.
Gotcha.
My district included the 8 surrounding counties: Greene, Sullivan, Clay, Owen, Park, Putnam, and Vermilion.
That's a lot.
Yeah, right.
Now, how many COs were in that county on duty at once?
At the time we had, I think most of the time I was in Sullivan, we had 2 of them assigned in Sullivan.
I think it's how it is now.
15, 16 at full staff, probably close to 18 in that 9 county.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got out of law enforcement, got out of CO after 31 years. What'd you do after that?
I spent 7 months, at least on a short-term basis, when I retired from law enforcement. I stayed in the DNR. I went to a different division with the Division of Outdoor Rec, and I worked as an assistant property manager there at Redbird.
Gotcha.
State riding area, one of the 2 off-road vehicle parks in Indiana. I was there for about 7 months before I took up the position that I'm in now.
And that you've been there since 2016?
Let's see.
November 2016, I think is what it was.
Yeah. It was November. I retired from law enforcement in December of 2015, transitioned to the Division of Outdoor Rec, was there for 7 months, took another entry position as an SRO, and I started at the Academy in November 2016. That's correct.
Okay.
You take good notes.
Yeah, I did a little.
So wait a minute, who taught you note-taking and report writing?
Oh, I slept for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, was that you? Oh, yeah.
That was me.
No, I know. I was front and center. Very front row.
I didn't let you sleep, did I?
No. Your class was fun, so no one wanted to sleep in your class. There was a select few that if they taught the class, everyone was awake. And there's also a select few that no one wanted in there. But, hey, that's another story for another time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time for that one later.
Yeah, right. So, but you said you were in the field the entire time. Or you were a field officer, but you did a lot in the field. You were a K-9. You did like that. Did you drone work?
No, I still
or sonar operator.
Yeah, I still talk like I still work for the division. We at the time had not entered into any of the the UAV technology yet.
Okay.
However, the last couple of years that we worked, we purchased a number of ROVs, remote operated underwater vehicles.
Oh wow!
No unmanned vehicles quite yet. Those came on board shortly after I retired.
Right, but you did diving as well, sonar diving, K9. There's a couple other things I thought you did.
Yeah,
Should have wrote more down.
Honestly, I think I did about as much as I could as a field guy. And of course, being in law enforcement, you probably work with a guy or two who now has a policy named after them in your agency, right? So I've got a policy or two, and
Oh, no kidding.
I do, and I think one of them is I had too many irons in the fire. So at one time, I ended up being a field training guy. I was a public information officer. I was an evidence tech, the only one in our district. I was a search and recovery diver. I had a canine at the same time, and I
You got all that at once?
Yeah. Now there are clear restrictions on how much.
Did you sleep?
Very seldom.
Golly.
Yeah, very seldom.
That's insane.
If I wasn't doing, I was training, because all those different venues require constant,
Extensive.
additional training.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So from going from everything you did in CO to jumping to Aliyah, were you as busy, do you feel? Like with all the training, because you were there with your firearms, your defensive tactics, report writing. I mean, you're bam, 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 bam.
Well, I will tell you that when I was with the DNR as a conservation officer, we were held to standards, and we didn't have quotas, we had goals.
Yeah.
They call them, we had quotas, and it was a constant drag. It was more, because there were few of us, and fewer of us in the field, as you know. You got to do more for less, and that's
exactly
constant. So when I transitioned into training, that was kind of I went from a high speed, low drag down to a low speed.
Right.
Now, it's a different kind of busy, but it's not at the pace that I was accustomed to doing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I retired so young. I was just, there was nothing left in the tank to maintain the pace I had maintained for 30 years. So,
it's understandable.
Yeah.
Get out while it's good.
Yeah.
Do you miss it at all? Aspects of it?
Oh, yeah. I'd be lying if I told you that.
Yeah.
I miss a good part of it. There are certain parts I don't miss, and other parts I miss dearly.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're friends with those people. I'm sure you still get to hear stories of things that go on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I still follow their Facebook pages. I still have really good friends that still work in the field and keep up to date. Occasionally I go down and ride with them.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Like some of them won't let me ride with them anymore. I think the last guy I rode with, everybody that we encountered knew me.
Oh,
not
yeah.
The guy that was with me, and they were like, "Hey, Tom, hey, Tom." And,
in a good way or bad way?
Well, a little bit of both, I think. And at the end of the day, the officer was like, "I don't know if I'm going to let you ride with me anymore. Seems like you know."
Make undercover work hard.
Yeah. I said, look, you spent 30 years and raise a family in this community.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to know who you are. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's one of the things in the CO world that you enjoyed so much? Like I think I would enjoy was the robo deer, and I know we talked about that a little bit. I think that'd be a blast. I think Canada said they had a moose, a swimming moose.
Yeah, when we piloted that program, I was one of two officers that wrote our original policy and did the research on using decoy deer, or I think at the time we called them wildlife facsimiles. That was the politically correct term. And obviously the first ones we used weren't motorized, but
they're pulling a string, guy in a bush.
Yeah, I think
I've
got a picture
forth.
of it somewhere, but I think the first one we actually had was a small to medium size 8-point buck with a shoulder mount, and we caped the rest of its hide over a sawhorse, and then we would
oh my gosh,
we would bury the sawhorse in some brush, and we would have people shoot the shit out of it. I mean, then we thought,
wow.
Yeah. Then we went to the full blown models with multiple moving head, moving tail. I've seen some, and we trained with guys in other states who had them on rail systems. So they could put them behind brush, and it made it look like they were walking.
I've seen turkeys like that, like full strut turkey. They'll have on a rail.
Correct.
Yep.
And they'll turn on the rail like they're in strut, and then they'll go down the rail, and we started using those probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years after we started. We started simple.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
with the budget, I'm sure you kind of had to, because they're not cheap.
Yeah, and most of the stuff we paid for back then, we paid for out of our own pocket.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Why?
When I started when I got hired in '84, my starting salary was a little over $12,000 annually. And,
Whoa.
And I will tell you, we didn't make the best money, but I never ever complained about the equipment that we had.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I'd complain about the equipment. We always had enough, and we always had enough training to do what we needed to do or what we were tasked to do at the time.
Yeah.
Salary always sucked, but at the end of the day, well, you're a cop. You know this. I mean, you don't do it for the money.
And I've always said that if you're in it for the money, you're for the wrong reasons.
100%.
Yeah, because I could go to other departments that make 20, 30,000 more, but I love where I'm at. My department's awesome. I love everyone I work with. It makes it nice, and I love it. I love this county.
Yeah.
So
Bottle that and save it, because that's what you're going to need to get you through the next 20, 25
Yeah.
years. Yeah. Yeah, but we started early with the decoy deer, and we graduated to some other things. Turkeys.
Mhm.
We used pheasant. I noticed the pheasant.
Oh, yeah.
All there. We used pheasant in different areas of the state. We did at one time. I remember using 2 different types of raptors. One
Oh,
hawk
no
and
kidding.
one owl.
people are shooting those things.
Yeah, see, back in the
Wow.
back in the mid '80s when I started, small game hunting was
Oh yeah.
far more popular than what it is now, and anybody that was an avid houndsman
Mm-hmm.
or was an avid small game hunter, they typically didn't like raptors, obviously, because
Yeah.
those birds ate their rabbits and the other small game. So we would end up finding, and we actually got this idea from the guys in Pennsylvania, the wardens in Pennsylvania. They would take a hawk or an owl that was mounted,
Mm-hmm.
and they would put it on a tree, a dead tree they would find.
Yeah.
That was 12, 15 foot tall, and they would drop it in segments and put it together. So you
Mhm.
could get on site, put this tree together, and put this owl up, and you would place it in areas where you were getting complaints, particularly from people who are experiencing small game hunters shooting non-target
Yeah.
animals like hawks, owls, other predatory
Wow.
birds. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, we never got to use the life-size swimming moose.
Can you imagine going through one of the lakes here?
Yeah.
Someone would shoot it.
I'm certain of it. Yeah, he did it long enough. But
Yep.
our guys from Canada were there and showed us the full-size swimming moose. But you got to keep in mind it was done on a balsa wood or foam platform the entire length of the moose, and then of course they would cut its legs and its shoulders off, and
Yeah.
they would put its head above the water, and the head would turn from side to side
No
as it was
kidding.
swimming through the water.
How cool. I'm sure a lot of people shot that up north. in
Yeah, and
Canada.
of course, the COs in Canada would say, well, it's against the law to shoot moose while they're swimming across the water. Well, we kind of figured that.
Yeah.
So they would put a moose facsimile in the water and
Right.
scoot it across the water every time somebody would drive by.
Oh my gosh. That'd have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
I heard also, like, when they did the robo deer, they would put like smaller racks on the deer to try to not target more of the, because if you're putting a 200-inch rack on a deer, that's going to draw a lot more attention
Yeah.
of your more ethical people that it could be like, ugh.
Yeah, see that was one of the one of the things among the outdoor, particularly the hunters,
Mhm.
especially the deer hunters, that we kind of got a bad rap over. That's dirty pool using those things. That's, well, in retrospect, I'm a deer hunter too.
Yeah.
Okay, I spend the same number of hours freezing my ass off in the fall and the winter at a
Yeah.
tree stand wanting that buck to walk by within range. But the simple fact of the matter is, we were catching a lot of flack from people, particularly hunters, when we started using the deer decoys. They said it was dirty pool, wasn't fair. It was entrapment. Of course, knowing what you know now about entrapment,
Yeah.
it's really not entrapment.
No.
But we took steps initially when we started here in Indiana by developing a policy modeled after other states to reduce that argument of entrapment. And one of those things, we weren't using trophy racks,
Right.
obviously. Because if we did, we were more than enticing just the opportunistic guy driving down the road going to and from his hunting spot
Yeah.
to entice him to shoot this, and the argument would be, who wouldn't shoot it?
Right. Exactly.
Right. So we would use medium size deer. We would sometimes use antlerless deer as target, or we would use antlerless deer mounts to supplement the other ones.
Yeah.
The second thing we did was we didn't just place it arbitrarily anywhere on a county roadway, or we were prohibited by policy from using it to catch a particular individual or individuals.
Oh, okay.
Sense, right. So we chose areas that we received complaints from landowners, farmers, other hunters, where we were getting complaints of road hunting.
Yeah.
And then we would be able to substantiate that in court. We didn't arbitrarily pick this location. We picked it because of these complaints.
Yeah.
And we would use an average size buck, and we wouldn't put it out in the middle where everybody driving by would see it.
They had to be looking for it.
Correct.
Yep.
So we would hide it to some degree where the people, we were comfortable in going to court if we had to say that these people had to be looking for this thing.
Exactly.
Because here's why. We'd take pictures of it or video of it beforehand while we were setting up, those kind of things. But we made a ton of cases.
Oh, I could only
A ton
imagine.
of arrests. At the end of the day, I would like to think that we deterred some road hunters.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
From, at least on a short-term basis, right?
Yeah.
From shooting from the road. But, boy, we had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, that'd be a blast.
A little dangerous, though, at
A lot.
times.
Yeah, because everyone's got a gun. Everyone you dealt with has a gun. That's a whole different aspect on law enforcement. People I deal with, a handful have a gun.
Well, one of the things about these decoys, too many people think that we use these things primarily at night, and very seldom do we use it at night unless we were receiving those same kind of complaints that these guys were shooting from the road at night, that we would use it at night. Most of the time, we were doing it during the day.
That's what I was told, that it was mostly during the day.
Right.
And that kind of the reflective eyes was kind of a newer idea for nighttime.
No, that's not accurate.
Really?
Yeah, we were making cases just putting two glow-in-the-dark tacks
Oh, no kidding. Like
on the side of a tree.
Yeah.
Without a decoy. So
Really?
You know,
People
those
are shooting at the eyes,
the
yeah.
little cat paws you used to take and place along the trail going
You have to
out
find
to
your
the
tree stand? Yeah.
those
People are shooting at trees, thinking
Oh,
their
yeah.
eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's insane. People blow my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely blow my mind. But good times.
Just about the time you say, I think I've seen everything.
Something
you
happens.
You really haven't.
Yeah. Gosh. So I think I asked you what your favorite part was, and I told you what I thought mine would be. So I guess, yeah, what was your favorite thing of the DNR to do?
The thing that drove me day to day was just it was the cat and mouse game. It was
Hunting.
it was the hunting.
Yep.
Right. Because we did hunt.
Yeah.
For the most part, and it was the constant challenge, the constant game, the cat and mouse, the game of chess, the move, counter move, and all those things that your field training officer tells you when you first get out of the academy. And of course, let's face it, we all take this job to save the world,
Right.
initially, and you think you're the the biggest, baddest, smartest guy, and then it doesn't take you long to realize you're not the biggest.
No.
You're certainly not the baddest. And
Yep.
there's a lot of smart people out there.
Absolutely.
But the thing that drove me was the game, and that drove me to become bigger and smarter.
Yeah.
The
So
entire
one
30
step
years.
ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
A constant evolution with different generations doing different things, and it was the constant need to get big, to get bigger, to get badder, to get better.
Yeah.
That drove me for a long time.
After you did a lot of out of state things, like on the river, as well, like the commercial fishing, the undercover sting stuff with commercial fishing.
Yeah, I spent a total of about 6 years of my 30 working either full time or part time as an investigator.
Okay.
So we did, and that we did. When I say investigations, we broke those down basically into two different types: covert and overt.
Gotcha.
Covert meaning undercover, and overt meaning more in an overt capacity. But a lot of those you didn't do in uniform.
Yeah. Right.
You're right. I wear a ball cap and grow a beard and a pair of blue jeans, and a lot of that stuff that we did on the river. Of course, I was in a river community. The thing that separated my county from the state of Illinois was the Wabash River, so I spent a ton of time on
The old muddy banks of the Wabash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was there a lot of commercial fishing on the Wabash, or is it mainly the Ohio?
Well, when I first started, there were a number of fish markets up and down the Wabash, all the way from Posey County, clear up to Terre Haute and beyond.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they, a lot of those commercial fishermen at the time were selling not just catfish, but they were selling carp. Buffalo was
Really?
Buffalo was a real popular.
I've shot buffalo, a lot of buffalo, but I've never eaten any.
Oh, dude, you don't know what you're
Really?
missing.
I had an Asian guy one time. I shot a, it's a largemouth buff. And we take a ball, and we have a farmer that he said, just throw him in my field, and he'll till him up for compost. And he this Asian guy, it was a Wabash River, and just outside of Missinawa, just south of Missinawa. He just wanted the head. Like, I guess. So he lopped the head off of it, put the head in a bucket, and I took the rest of the fish. He said he boils the head for soup. Like that sounds disgusting.
That sounds disgusting, but I would be lying if I said I didn't do it. Once again, goes back to that what I told you earlier about what kept me driving.
Yeah.
I had to understand why guys were doing that. So a lot of times of doing it, I had to do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, if someone made it, hey, this is buffalo head soup. Like, oh, okay, I'll try it.
No, but if you process the buffalo correctly, there's nothing. I put it in the top 3 or 4 eaten fish.
That high?
Oh boy, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's insane. There's no way I'd think about that. It's trash fish. That's all I would think about them.
If it was processed right, and I gave you a set of buffalo ribs, and I told you there was one bone in it, but it was about the size of a rib bone because buffalo had big rib bones.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you what it was. You'd eat it up, and you'd put the bone down, and you'd say, "Damn, that was good. What the hell was that?"
Carp.
I have to say, buffalo.
Yeah. No kidding.
So buffalo are popular in the fish markets.
Yeah.
Obviously, catfish, carp.
Talking like carp, like your European carp, your big gold ones, or are you talking like the Asian carp, the big heads, the silvers?
Just common carp.
Okay, yep.
At the time, Asian carps were not at all present yet.
I wish they weren't. Gosh, dang it.
Mid 80s. Yeah.
They weren't here. I think it was in like the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s when they hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they migrated in from certain tributaries, but
Yeah, I think it was Mississippi
we
River.
didn't see them in the Wabash River Valley, not in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But we had fish markets up and down the Wabash, and then they just slowly disappeared
Yeah. Oh.
over a period of time.
Did people stop buying them, or the population started going down? What happened with that?
Changes in trends.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like we got fewer licensed hunters than we did, 15
That's
20
true.
years ago.
Yeah.
There was a generational thing.
Yeah.
fish advisories would come out every once in a while. It would sometimes affect people's desire to buy fresh fish on
Right.
the Wabash River. You know, high mercury levels.
That's
or,
true.
You know, wherever they would, the DNR would put fish consumption advisories.
That detours a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I could understand that.
Yeah, I ate fish out of the Wabash River for years, but it really did seem to affect me. Affect me. Affect me. Right, affect me.
Hit him in the head.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man. So is caviar pretty big in the Wabash as well, or is that one of the bigger underground fish market?
Yeah. See, when you mentioned caviar, is basically the processed eggs that come from either a sturgeon or
The paddlefish.
Or a paddlefish.
Mhm. Were there lakes? I know there were shovel-nosed sturgeon in the Wabash, but there were lake sturgeon in.
Well, see, caviar, at least commercial fishermen weren't seeking those species specifically for their eggs
Mhm.
until after about the early to mid 90s.
Oh wow, late.
Right. Most of the caviar, the processed fish eggs were coming from those species, was actually being imported from the Baltic states
Oh okay.
to Russia.
Wow.
When Russia was the Soviet Union,
Mhm.
and with the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the regulations on the harvest of those fish, particularly in areas like the Baltic Sea,
Yeah.
deregulated.
Huh.
They fished them out, and in the mid 90s, they didn't have any place to get
Wow.
their fish eggs, so hence the need and the market for those eggs, and it started in the Mississippi River valleys of
Okay.
the Mississippi River,
Yeah.
with species like paddlefish, and of course it migrates out into the Ohio River tributaries with
Yep.
paddlefish, a few sturgeon. And of course, in the Wabash, you didn't have many paddlefish, if any, at least in the upper portions, but you had a lot of shovel-nosed sturgeon.
I've seen a ton of paddlefish in the Wabash, again, Misinawal area. Is that
Yeah.
Miami County? I think it is. Miami County.
Recently,
2010, 2011,
yeah,
that time frame,
Right.
when I was up there bow fishing a lot.
yeah, you didn't see a lot of them because guys weren't catching them. Occasionally, you see them caught in a commercial fishing device,
Yeah.
a hoot net or something
Big-
like
yep.
that. They're not the type of fish you could easily catch on a hand
Yes,
line.
people were snagging them,
Yeah, they're snagging.
and DNR up there on the hill watching them and hammering them.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Dress up like trees.
They're out there.
Wearing surveillance equipment. Oh yeah.
And amongst you fishing, there'd be 30 people in line. You're like, that's a cop. That's a cop.
Right. Right.
Really, we're moving.
I did that for a while.
That was in the college days, weren't you, when you were an instructor?
And then, well, when they all started recognizing who I was, then I would, yeah.
Send the students out. Take notes.
No, I didn't send them out. I asked for volunteers, and I had a plethora of volunteers at that
Oh,
time.
yeah. What
So,
what area? You're down south. You were also an instructor or a, what do you call it? You were a teacher at Vincennes University as well, weren't you?
I was for
How-
11 years, from 2005 to about 2015, 2016. Yeah,
Okay.
I was an adjunct professor. I taught in the,
Professor, that's the word I couldn't think for some reason.
well, we weren't really true professors. That came with tenure. We were an adjunct instructor, and I taught in the law enforcement program and the conservation law enforcement
Yeah.
program for.
Yeah, you were a professor
11
for my best friend. Like, he has nothing, all kinds of cool, like, you were his favorite. And then one of our guys here in Putnam County, you were his instructor too.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I still see and run across an occasional former student in our basic class. But
Oh, no kidding.
They're getting fewer and farther
Yeah.
between. Cause
They're all
most
getting
of-
older.
Yeah, they're all getting older. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you were favorites there when you were an instructor.
Yeah, it was
So
fun.
good class.
That's a good impressionable age. You know, college
Yeah.
students are like little giant sponges. You know, they just
They want to be there.
they want to learn.
Yeah.
And they would absorb about anything you tell them. You know, I'd have a student come in at the beginning of class, and he would be carrying a feather, and he said, Mr. Leahy, I found this feather in the parking lot. Can you tell me what kind of bird it came from?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, and of course I can. That's pretty easy. And I'd take the feather, you know, and I'd blow on it, shake it, turn it upside down, and I'd lick it, and I'd listen to it, and I'd hand it to him, and I said, yeah, that's a primary flight feather off the right wing of a purple grackle, about a 2.5-year-old male.
And they were like, "Oh my
And they're
God!"
all writing that. They're all writing that
Oh
shit
my
down.
God.
No, I'm just. Are you serious, Mr. Lay? I said, no, I'm just kidding. I made that stuff up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but you got to turn it into a training moment.
Oh yeah.
So I said, why don't you guys decide and figure out what that is?
Yeah.
And here are some of the things you're looking for. You're looking for this in the feather, and then. But I had a lot of fun with it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you would take the gosh, I keep hitting that dang antler. Move my hand back. So you would you would have them volunteer to go out and fish different lakes and rivers and find people that were catching more fish than they're supposed to, or more poles, or anything illegal fishing wise.
Well, at the time we were using second-year conservation law students who were nearing that 21-year-old age where they could transition right out of there into applying for a law enforcement job. So, of course, they were all eager to try to get out in the field and do something. Sitting in a classroom learning is one thing, but I want to get out and see what it feels like to catch somebody.
Yeah.
So occasionally, where I could, I would use them and plug them into practical real-life exercises. And one of those was using them in put and take trout releases.
Oh, okay.
Different bodies of water in our district.
Yeah.
So in the springtime, usually about the 1st of April, the DNR would stock trout in some of these lakes as an additional bonus fishing opportunity, and we would take 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them out the first couple of days, and we made sure they had a fishing license. They used their own fishing poles.
Yeah.
They signed a waiver of liability, and we gave them a pair of binoculars and a spiral notebook with a pen to take some notes, and they planted themselves all around the lake fishing with these guys, and we sat there for, well, better part of a 8-hour shift or more if we needed to.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That'd been fun though. That'd been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
See a lot of people, catch a lot of people. I assume you would.
We caught a few.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and of course they had that. Once they see what they were able to see and document what they needed to.
Yeah.
And other than license violations, the most common thing we were looking for was people double and triple tripping. So if the bag limit on these things was 5 a day, a lot of folks would take 5, put them in their cooler in their car, go back out, catch another 5, hide them in their car, or even some of them would take them home.
Oh, they come back.
So we had to literally spend hours documenting who caught what fish, how many they had, what kind of vehicle they were driving, let them leave, come back, let them catch more, document those, and obviously they become state's witness.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think if we ever had to have any of them testify in court. I don't think we had to have any of them testify, but we certainly listed them as witnesses.
Right. Absolutely.
And I even took the opportunity. Once again, it's a training opportunity.
Yeah.
And they might have even written the report.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah. Of course, I polished it up at
the
end, and that way those students had some ownership in that particular
Exactly. I bet they loved that.
Oh, yeah, they ate that up.
Well, that'd have been cool. What a cool experience for them.
Yeah.
I wonder if there'd be anything like that now. Or is it all, or would you even know?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But if I'll tell you, if I was there, I would try to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was every year we would try to do something different to get those kids involved in a real life wildlife law enforcement scenario.
Right. Like, hey, this is a taste of kind of what you'll be doing from time to time.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the deer check station thing we had them do one year?
No.
All right. So this was back in the days where it was pre telephonic deer check.
Mhm. Yep.
So a hunter would harvest a deer, take it to a check station. They'd have to check it in.
Yep. I miss those days. Everybody piling in there, you can see everybody's deer. I love that.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, it was. And most of those check stations had a pot of coffee or a pot of beans
Oh yeah.
on all day long. And
That's what they do here when they're opening a gun season. You can check them in here, here in the calendar. They've got like breakfast burritos, chili. They've got all kinds of food here.
oh yeah,
So yeah, it's a whole ordeal if you come in here checking a deer.
I gathered more intelligence at those deer check stations than
Oh, I
had.
could only
Oh
imagine.
yeah, yeah. But we all that harvest data had to be done manually,
Yep.
pen and paper. So at the end of the season, we collected all that harvest data from all the check stations in this 9-county district.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, the numbers were somewhere between 11 and 12,000 deer harvested.
Just in that District 9.
In these records.
Wow.
Right? So then I would task these students, number one, with reviewing the administrative code on the deer regulations. And then I would task each group by county. So there's 9 counties, 9 groups of students, and I would give them the harvest data, and I would have them all log those on spreadsheets,
Mm-hmm.
and then we cross-referenced those Excel spreadsheets, things like name of the person that harvested, obviously the sex of the animal, and some other different things. And I would task them in finding some sort of violation with those records.
Okay. Like they bought their license the day after or the morning of.
Correct. That was one of the fields we looked at. The time they harvested had to be recorded, and obviously they attached their license, if you remember, to the. So,
Yep.
so we would task them with looking at the license, see when they purchased that license, the vendor, compare it to the time they allegedly killed the deer.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And once again, they had an absolute ball because this information was real.
Exactly.
Right. So it wasn't something in a book. I mean, they were going through records and trying to look at these bloodied transportation tags. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, they were.
Oh man.
And at the end of the day, I think we had somewhere in the vicinity of 200
Whoa.
200 to 220 violations.
Like clearly known violations.
Yeah, and these ranged from simple transport tag violations, like if they didn't have their tag properly notched,
Okay. Yeah.
they would record it. And then I gave them all warning books,
Mhm.
and I gave them citation books.
Oh, no kidding.
We schooled them on information and summons, how to properly fill them out, what information had to legally go in there.
Yeah.
They filled out all the tickets. They filled out all the warnings. We separated all
Wow.
those violations. We put them in folders for each county, and all I had to do is take them to each individual county's officer and say, here you go.
Oh, they actually filled out citations and warnings, and the people received those.
100%.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I bet the students had a blast having a hand in actually
Oh,
citing
yeah.
these people.
Now put yourself in the shoes of a 20-year-old kid that's
Oh,
wanting to be.
I'm going to get
to
your
be a
head through the
game warden.
door. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's fun.
Gosh, I hope they do. I doubt they do stuff like that anymore, but I hope they do something along those aspects. And what a cool idea.
Yeah, we trying to think one other year we did. Did I tell you about the testing we did on the lead content in broadheads?
You did. I want to hear about that. I wrote that written down in my other book, but yes.
Okay, yeah. So
Because
of
people were
course
shooting deer with a rifle and sticking an arrow through it.
Right,
And
sticking
yep,
an arrow.
archery shot.
yeah, and at the time the current technology, there weren't a lot of laboratory tests you could do to determine whether or not a deer was actually taken with a bow.
Right. Other than that, I would assume bruising.
Correct. And of course, that's all subjective, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's subjective to the type of bruising, the temperature, the conditions, how long it's been dead, how it was transported after it was dead.
There's a lot of different things there.
Yeah, yeah. So at the time, the only thing that we had available to us was a test they referred to as the atomic absorption spectrophotometer. And this test was done in a lab, and it was used basically to determine the presence or absence of lead in a particular test sample.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, we would use either the hide from around the wound,
Yeah.
or the underlying tissue in the wound, or both. And
Right.
it would quantitatively and qualitatively give us an analysis. It's either got lead, and if it's got lead, how many parts per million, and then obviously you would compare that with the hide or tissue of the same deer away from the wound.
Yeah.
Right. Now here's the only argument with that, and some people threw these arguments out. There was lead in my broadhead.
That's exactly how they paint the broadhead or what they make the broadhead with. That was my thought.
Yeah, see, and I bow hunted since I was 13 years old. Some of those early broadheads probably had some element of lead.
Yeah.
However residual it was, because lead was common in paint back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a person could argue, I'll tell you why it's showing up with lead, because I got lead in my paint in my broadhead. So one of the tasks we had them do was reach out to as many broadhead manufacturers as we could find at that time. And they either contacted them by phone or by mail, and or email. Email was kind of a new thing at that time.
Yeah.
And to collect data for the most part. Types of broadheads, what types of materials were used in manufacturing the broadheads, everything from the blades to the posts, the sleeves at the time.
Wow.
And including the paint of some that was used on some of the aluminum arrows at the time. See, carbon was not quite a popular material for arrows. And we gathered a bunch of data, and we disseminated that data out to some of the field guys as well.
Did it work?
Too, so I'm sure it was great reference material.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Is that something they could have tested in the field, like scoop a skin sample of the deer and test it right there in the field?
No, see, that was the
Had to be
tough
sent
part.
out. Ah.
Right. Yeah, it had to be sent. It had to be collected, packaged, preserved, and sent to a
Oh,
lab.
man. See, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it could be weeks before you get the results back.
Yeah.
But,
That'd be awesome to have, like, the packs that we put the drugs in. You pop the vial, shake it, boom. Turn purple, it's lead. That would have been cool.
It would have been. So a year later, one of our projects, kind of funny you mentioned that, we took that same principle, and baiting was a thing, right? And I remember this being a point of contention in the legislature, which it seemed to be every 3 or 4 or 5 years. Do we allow baiting for deer? Do we not? Now, Indiana's always been more of an anti-baiting state.
Yeah.
You know, a fair chase, if you will. They typically stick to their guns for the most part on fair chase rules.
Yeah. And I've been to states where baiting is legal, and it's not easy. Like, it doesn't mean, you're going to kill a deer off that bait. One, people are using the wrong stuff.
Right,
but,
there's an art and science
yeah,
to it.
absolutely.
Right. So we knew there were a lot of commercial products out there, number one. A lot of them were easy to detect and identify as a bait. And there were a lot of them that were used that, honestly, you couldn't find. You know, some of the deer cocaines, the granulars that would dissolve in the soils, some of the spray, attractants, baits, if you will, that were nearly invisible. We knew all that stuff was out there. We knew people could get it easily, and we knew that a lot of people were using it.
Yeah.
So my students and I got together. We got a grant from the university, and with the help of their chemistry department there at the university, we came up with an idea for that, using that same principle. Is there a test kit that we could put together that an officer could use when he's in the field checking a deer hunter and he sees something on the ground near this guy's blind or his tree stand that looks suspicious.
Yeah.
So our first step was to find out exactly what manufacturers were putting in this stuff. I mean, there were granulars, there were blocks, there were solids, there were
Yep.
sprays, there were molasses type
Oh, yeah.
stuff, all kinds of stuff. So we built a diary, if you will, and most manufacturers at that time were more than willing to give us the information, like what kind of stuff you use. And those who didn't and weren't willing, we just simply bought some of their products.
Yeah.
And we used the data off the labeling to kind of
There you go.
paint that picture.
Yeah.
But we found two common things in these bait, and most deer hunters, this is common sense stuff. Two common things in all these bait. It either has some kind of salt
Yep.
or sodium, and the second thing was some kind of sugar.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's a natural grain sugar from corn or something like molasses
Yep.
or something like that. So we went to the chemistry department and said, hey, can we develop this field test where a guy could take this stuff off the ground? He didn't know what it was. He thinks it's bait, put it in a field test kit, enter a couple of reagents, shake it, and it turns color to see if we got sugars or salts.
Yeah.
And we developed it with a simple two reagent, and we tested it with half a dozen different products.
Mhm.
And we would get, much like what you would see if you were testing marijuana, the color reagent, you'd see a color transfer.
Yep.
If it was positive, no color transfer. If it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, that just didn't necessarily mean it was bait. It just meant there was some kind of sugar
In that
and
soil.
or salt. And then the field officer would have to take it to the next level to kind of determine what that was. So
No kid. And I don't know, but do they do that now? Did it take off at all?
to my knowledge, no. We distributed. We put together with this grant money. We put
Man.
together these number of these kits, and we distributed those to the field officers. We
Yeah.
had them try to use them to try to document what they've done, and of course, at the end of the day, most cops don't like paperwork. We never got any of those reports back.
Dang it.
We got stories back,
Yeah.
but we never got any formal reports or
Dang.
anything back. So
That'd have been cool to see get off the ground.
yeah, we thought we were going to make $1 million by doing it. But anyway, we got it. We got the kids engaged in it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super surprised that didn't go anywhere. Or if it did, you don't hear about it.
Right. Or somebody picked it up and is making a
Yeah, they're making $1 million
They're
now.
making $1 million now on it.
And they just didn't tell you.
Right.
That's cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah, lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun. Lots of experience, lots of knowledge. So how many students are in the class typically in the college?
Oh shoot! At that time, I was teaching a course in wildlife criminal investigations. We had probably 25 to 30
Oh, okay.
students. Yeah.
Compared to ILEA now, I think how many were in my class? 180 something?
Yeah, the current class we got up there now is down to 171.
Still a
We
lot.
We started close to 180. Those are humongous classes.
Yeah, you can't. Kids can be the fly on. I say kids. Students, basics can be a fly on the wall in there easily, unless you screw up really bad. I don't think anybody in my class did. 233.
Yeah,
Yeah,
except
no
the
one-
guy that was sitting up front and fall asleep during report writing every once in a while.
I never got
There's
caught.
you.
I never
Okay,
got
never
caught.
got Yeah, there were actually even when I was a drill instructor, I would get to somebody's face and scream and holler at them in week 5, and I'd say, "What the hell is your name? Where you been? You've been here the whole 5
right.
weeks." So he'd be flying under the radar for 5 weeks. I never recognized his face.
We had one at graduation, and one of the instructors come up, and he's like, "Are you graduating today?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You were here the entire 16 weeks?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay."
So that tells
It's like,
me
good work.
That tells me our skills of observation are waning,
Yeah.
or that you've just done a really good job of staying underneath the radar.
I don't see how it, because this kid, he's six. Oh gosh, everyone's taller than me. He's probably 6'5", 6'4". He's tall. So I don't understand
He's
how
one, really.
he's a big guy. So I don't understand how he didn't stick out. But
Maybe we
Well.
were just too afraid to
Yeah,
confront
right.
him with everything. Who knows?
But I had a good class. I loved it. If I could go back and do it again, I would. If I enjoyed it.
That makes me wonder how many in a class of 180 would say that.
I've said that to a lot of people, and they say I'm an idiot. Like there's no way I'd go back. I miss the family, absolutely, but the aspect, the discipline of it, I liked it. And it was weird because I had one of my best friends graduated 2 years prior than I did, and comparing stories just from the 2 years, night and day difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, if I could tell you some stories about my initial recruit training.
Mm-hmm. Oh
which
yeah,
was
in '85.
In '85.
I bet it was.
And this was the DNR recruit training. And it has, ever since I started, even before I started, since 1980,
Mm-hmm.
it has always had the reputation of being one of the toughest, if not the toughest, physically and mentally, recruit screening processes in the state.
Yeah.
I still think it is to some degree. But, if I were to tell you some of the stories of some of the things that that they did to us back then, it would almost be criminal nowadays,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
100%.
Hurting a lot of feelings nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. When you're told as a law enforcement trainer that you can't use profanity in your training, it kind of makes you wonder whether you're actually doing more harm to a police officer recruit than good.
yeah, because out on the street, people aren't going to be like, "Ah, I'll watch my mouth around you."
Right.
That's not how it works. You get screamed at. You get called some horrible things.
Okay, so case in point, how many times have you been screamed at in the last month?
Oh gosh, I can honestly think of 3 different calls, just in what's today? Yeah, just in this month. So
Did they-
honestly, not a lot, but
Did they use profanity with you?
I would say most everyone you encounter just on casual talking,
Right, there
Yeah.
you go.
or if they get mad at the neighbor because their radio's too loud, they're screaming and yelling. Not so much at you, but at the situation. So yeah,
Right. Yeah,
But-
I'm more old school training, and I like to think it's not because I had to go through that, and it was a rite of passage.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a valuable teaching and learning tool for a young police officer.
I'm not blindsided by it. Like, oh, they didn't teach us this part.
Culture shock.
Yeah, huge.
And you
Huge.
couple that with all the tools that you're carrying now, then you come up with this thing called tool dependency.
Yeah.
Where you're reliant on one of those tools you're carrying around your belt. You can't think on your feet because you haven't been conditioned, or you haven't had that stress inoculation during your training to be able to push through that. And you,
The biggest tool being your mouth, what you say.
that's right.
Yeah. You can talk some pretty big, nasty individuals into handcuffs.
So you remember that part of the training. That's good.
Yeah,
You're about an A- right now. You're
I'll
doing
take
well.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Didn't have to cheat for that one.
Right.
But yeah, it's more of like a college setting at Aaliyah now, it seems like, than
It's certainly more so now than it was
Yeah.
2 classes ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago.
and shoot, 10 years ago, it was a whole different uniform. I remember it was Dickies back then. I wish it still did that because that's uniform discipline. You have people going out there now looking like a soup sandwich. It's terrible.
Yeah, and that once again changing culture, changing generations, and it was always about the paramilitary structure
Mhm.
of uniform discipline, and we had half a dozen ironing boards, we had half a dozen irons. Guys were ironing and pressing their pants and their shirt every
Yeah.
night, their tie, and that's gone now.
Yep.
So
I remember doing that because I was at Area 30 Career Center for law enforcement here in Greencastle, Indiana, and we had to wear all the Dickies, and they had to have the pressed lines in the pants and the shirt, the white T-shirt, black button tie, or the
Yeah.
black clip-on tie. I mean, it was full-on academy, and if
Yeah.
we had to stand up for uniform inspections every day, and if there was one person that had anything wrong, it was 25 push-ups
Everybody
per violation.
paid. Yeah.
Everyone. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you police your group before uniform inspections. Carry extra ties, extra white shirts.
Yeah, there are a lot of academies in the country now that have kind of gotten more toward the college campus setting. You go 8 hours for training, you go home.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, once again, we're kind of a traditionalist state here, and always for a good while
Mm-hmm.
have been a conservative, traditionalist, paramilitary.
Yeah.
Dormitory style. It's a residential academy where new police show up on a Monday morning and they stay all week.
Yeah.
That way and we do that for a number of different reasons, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that you can eliminate all the external things going on. You can focus specifically on your training, and there's a lot of value to that. But some of the states that don't do that now will probably tell you that they wish they were doing that now.
Yep.
Yeah. Or
Yep.
wish they could do that now.
I believe it.
Yeah. Some of the students, every class will tell you, we wish we could have gotten thrashed more.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have that in your
Mhm.
class as
Yeah.
well? Yeah.
Not a lot, but yeah, I definitely heard it. More so when you graduated the academy. People would talk about it. It's like the discipline.
Sure, they wanted to wear that on their sleeve the rest of their
Yeah.
career. Sure, they wanted to say, I pushed through that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it helped me in the long run. But,
Yep. Because there are people that graduated there, you're like, you're not going to make it. You should not be. There's people that in my class, in my squad, I'm like, you don't even need a gun on your hip.
Well, it's funny you said that because we as trainers,
Mm-hmm.
we see the same thing.
That's
And
terrifying.
Within several days, we can probably go down the line and say, he won't be here very long. He won't be here long. She won't be here very long. He's a career guy. He's going to be solid. He won't make it past. He won't make it through FTO.
Yep.
He shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, we
He'll
saw.
probably be arrested.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's like, God dang, over some pretty heinous things. Like, eek.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. I mean, you have so many students, and so much, not even so much, so little time. It's just kind of get in, get out, get them the basics that you.
Yeah,
they
we don't
have to
hire
have.
them. That's
Yeah.
And you're going to have disciplinary issues with classes that large. You're going to have some to a degree. Some classes a greater degree than other classes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we don't hire them, but we're obligated, obviously, to put them through the same basic training curriculum and give everybody the opportunity to do that. So
It's up to their department to decide what they do with them after that.
right.
Yeah, I get it, but it's scary. Like that person's supposed to be protecting their community. It's like, ooh, I wouldn't let them protect my goldfish.
Right. We
But-
got close to 18,000 sworn in the state of Indiana, and you know as well as I know that some agencies are a little more tolerant with things like that in their agency than others.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we'll have a basic student involved in a disciplinary issue. We'll call their agency and inform them what's going on. And some agencies will say, put him back in the academy. And then other agencies will say, nope, we're not putting up with that.
Have them pack up. Yeah.
Pack your stuff, go home. We'll find somebody else.
Yep.
And
That's how it should be.
yeah, I think that's how it's always been. But agencies are struggling, not just here, but nationwide. They can't get people to apply, and a lot of the agencies, the ones that do apply, they don't screen through their hiring process.
Yep.
Like they want to. So that a lot of these agencies are forced to do one of two things. They either hire folks that don't meet their minimum standards,
Mm-hmm.
or they can't screen them to meet those standards,
Yeah.
or they don't hire anybody and they lose the positions.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And they're back to screwed again until they find someone that
right,
worth a damn.
right.
And hopefully,
That's always been that way.
Yeah.
Our attrition rate in our recruit training at that time was close to 50%.
Hmm.
So in a 6-week recruit training program, or we call it recruit school or boot camp,
Yeah.
if you will, game warden boot camp, we had a close to 50% attrition rate. So half
Wow.
of them would quit in those 6 weeks.
just from how hard it was, they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, they chose not to.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it, either physically or mentally. Or
And I respect
emotionally.
that more than the people that try to stick it out and then go to the road and still can't handle it, and they still, yeah.
Right, because by then the agency's got a lot of money invested. in their
Exactly.
training. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, I respect the people like, this isn't for me. I just can't do it. Like, good on you. Instead of being a liability to your department and everyone you work with.
And I'm not going to lie, I've had those conversations with a few basic students myself.
Yeah, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, honestly. And you can see it. You can see it in them. And you have a one-on-one conversation. And, you ask them, how comfortable are you in this environment? Because if
Yeah.
you're not comfortable in this environment, you're certainly not going to be comfortable out here. More often than not, by yourself.
Yeah.
Solving problems under stress.
Yep.
And some of them recognize it. Some of them don't.
Yep. Yeah, there's some that won't recognize it until that scenario hits them in the face.
Right. Yep.
And they're out here by themselves, and your backup's 20 minutes away, and you've got a guy wanting to fight you. You're like,
Right.
oof. 15, 20 minutes is a long time to get your ass beat by yourself.
Yeah. Well, you work a rural county as
Yeah.
much as I did. Sometimes it was 15, 20, 25 minutes. And we were, a lot of times when I worked a shift, especially night shifts, there may be two maybe three guys on a shift in,
Yep.
in 400 square miles.
That's right. How this county, we have 3 on a good day. Sometimes it's 2. We
Right.
500 square miles for this county.
There you go.
So if you have a guy up north in Russellville, and I'm all the way down in Cloverdale, you got 35, 40 minutes. I mean, Signal 10, 25, 30 minutes.
Right. So you're saying it's harder now for
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
500 square than it was back then. Yeah. See, but you guys are driving nice cars and have computers in it. Back then, well, I didn't have computers in the car.
Right.
We knew where every phone booth was in the county.
Gosh, carry a pocket full of dimes.
Well, we had a state credit card, but you had to dial the number with the area code. You had to dial like a 17-digit
Oh, my
calling
gosh.
card number. Then you had to dial another number, and of course, every phone back when I first started, you had to know where the payphones were. Number
Yeah.
one, we didn't have cell phones. Number two, the radio systems that you have now are nothing like they were back then.
Yeah.
So sometimes you were within range, sometimes you weren't. You didn't. A lot of times you didn't have radio contact, so you would have to
Oh, wow.
find the nearest payphone, and most of those were rotary phones. So you had to dial
Oh,
27
my
numbers,
gosh.
and then you'd make a mistake because your hands were frostbitten.
Oh.
So you have to hang up and do it again.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
But never mind. I'm going home.
yeah. I even think back then we had the phone booths numbered, so if you were fortunate enough to have radio contact with
Yeah.
somebody or needing help, and you wanted to relay information you didn't want to put over the radio, we would say, "I'm going to stop at phone booth, 16."
Okay. And call out from there.
Yeah, call out from there.
Golly,
yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's something I'd never heard about.
Well, you had to without cell phones. You had to
Yeah.
know where every payphone was.
Yet nowadays in law enforcement, that's not. I don't think there are payphones anymore. There's still like little booths where there used to be a payphone,
Right,
but that's
right.
not even a thing now.
Yeah, and some of them were as rural as we were.
Yeah.
Some of them were in a booth on an intersection of a highway and a county road with nothing else around it.
Just the payphone.
Yeah, and then, of course those things became targets of vandalism and
Oh yeah,
all kinds of other.
Yep.
So you were running a risk of whether or not it was even working.
yeah, exactly. Get there and the cord's been cut. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Go-
I guess we'll go to the next one.
We'll go to number 17.
Yeah, right. Disregard heading to 17.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of stories I heard. Well, I just thought about this one actually. Did I write that down? I did, but that's what I wanted to talk about. There's a huge myth, and you'll be able to say yes or no to this one. on DNR have more authority than regular law enforcement on searching, whether it be vehicles or homes or
Oh yeah,
like more power.
Yeah, that was an old misnomer I'd heard from the public for years,
Yeah.
for decades. You know, you have more authority than anybody. You're
Yep.
the only one that can arrest the president. You're the only one that can arrest the governor. Well, at the end of the day, that none of that was really accurate. And I would tell people,
Okay.
I would to characterize it, I would say this. You know, we have this thing in this country called the Constitution, and it applies to pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still had to. Procedurally, we still had to follow the confines that were set for us in
Yeah.
Constitution and constitutional law. But when it comes to things like search and seizure, state statute gave us a little broader authority on searching
Mm-hmm.
certain things under certain circumstances without having to have that warrant.
Okay. Or
And-
more specific in the warrant, or just the warrant in general.
Yeah, it allowed us to search without a warrant under certain circumstances in certain places.
Yeah.
But of course, that translated later into you guys can search without a warrant. Well, that's not true.
Right.
And the reason that the legislature allowed that,
Mhm.
and that statute goes back well before I even started, was that because of the regulatory authority of the DNR
Mhm.
in its statutory authority that was governed to them by regulating fish and wildlife species, that fish, wildlife, and other wild animals became property of the people of the state of Indiana.
Okay.
So they didn't. Wildlife was property of the people of the state until such time when you reduced it to your possession by lawful means of hunting, fishing, trapping.
Yeah.
Right? So it gave us a broader authority to search under certain circumstances. I mean,
Okay.
for example, if you're checking fishermen and you're in a boat and you can clearly see they're fishing, then the statute allowed us the authority to look in, say, for example, live wells,
Oh, okay.
coolers.
Yeah.
Once those people were engaged in that activity of fishing, which was regulated by the DNR, you were required to have a regulatory license
Mhm.
to fish or trap, then inherently we had the authority to search in those places.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, would I do that? Absolutely. But I would always predicate it by asking them if they had any fish in their live well.
Right.
And then I would look for additional evidence that led me to believe there either were or they weren't. And if there weren't, I would politely ask them, do you mind if I would always, it was one of those laws, to be quite frank with you, I didn't want to use
Yeah.
unless I absolutely had to. And very seldom did I really have to. I would plow around that stump, metaphorically
Right.
speaking. I'd usually get consent to do it.
That's probably the
Yeah.
best method to go through. Because
Yeah.
going to court without that would be a little sketchy.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I used to have police officers that I worked with routinely, and they would call me, and they'd say, "Hey, John Doe down the street's doing some illegal shit in his house, and we want to get in his house, and
Oh, yeah.
you guys don't need a warrant. You guys come down there and kick the door in for me." And we
See, that's
no,
the concept that a lot of people, I think, have painted with DNR. No warrant. They can do what they want. More power than anybody else.
well, sometimes that works in your advantage. Sometimes it
Oh,
doesn't, to be
absolutely.
honest with you,
I guess you can. You can search it anyway, so I guess I'll let you.
Right. I was never one to overextend my authority
Right.
to do that. Right. Even though you had it, it was one of those things. It was nice to know the law was there.
Yeah.
But I tried not to use it unless I absolutely had
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. This is understandable.
Yeah.
That paint a bad picture for you. Like, oh, there's this guy. He's a dick.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. That was it.
Yep.
If a guy had blood coming out of the trunk of his car and it had a bunch of hair around it, looked like deer hair, and there's blood on his hands, and
Yeah.
everything was all the stars were lining, all the planets were lining up. That might be a different
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the lying aspect, you've heard of other ways to, like the lie detect test, or use the PBT to see if people are lying, or scanners, or anything like that. You've heard of stories and things people have done in that aspect. The lead test, or the water test on the fishing line.
Right. I can neither confirm nor deny that I ever participated in any of these game warden tricks of the trade. But actually, I picked a bunch of those up. For a number of years, I was a member of the North American Wildlife Enforcement Officers Association.
Okay.
NAWIA was the acronym.
NAWIA.
Right. So wardens from throughout the country and in Canada put together a CD with hundreds of tips and tricks of fish
That
and
would
game
be so
enforcement.
fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I still
my
have that CD there
gosh.
somewhere, and I may or may not have contributed to some of those tricks of the trade, but as long as it was lawful
Mm-hmm.
to deceive under certain circumstances in order to get what you needed from a particular individual or individuals, I was known to do that.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of it done.
And it worked.
Well, yeah. It worked more often than not. I mean, I remember the first time that I did this. The first radios we ever had in our cars were old VHF radios. They only had 4 channels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? And they had a control head in the up by your console, and the control head was really small. And of course, the radio itself, which was a tube radio, was giant. It was usually in the trunk of your car, and it took up half your trunk because it was this big and this tall and yay wide. So whenever you'd key the mic to talk on the radio, you had to rev up the RPMs.
Oh my
on
gosh.
your car.
Yeah.
Because when you key the mic, it just you see your battery just go. Ooh.
Oh wow. It pulled a lot of juice.
It did, and
Oh
it
my
wouldn't
gosh.
transmit very far.
Oh wow.
But it had a little tiny light
Mm-hmm.
on the control head. Of course, when you keyed the mic to talk, that red light would come on. And the radios, like I said back then, were more useless than useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I remember interviewing a guy one night, and I thought I'd use that red light to my advantage, and I wrapped the microphone cord around his left arm when he was sitting in my car and asked him a question. And if I thought he was lying, I'd key the mic, or that little red light would come on, and that became my first lie detector.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd say, well, my machine says that you're lying, dude. What gives? And of course, the ideas and the creativity just grew from there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a lead tester, I think. The lead tester, using air quotes, for stealing lead shot, being in the shotgun.
Yeah, see, the advent of the old portable breath test. The first portable breath test, I'm sure you've seen them.
The gray box?
Yes, the gray box.
That's the one. I have a yellow one and a gray one. I use the gray one. I love the gray box.
Yeah, and it had a really tiny digital display of the BAC.
Yep.
And of course, even then, they had the disposable plastic tubes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You put it on, have somebody blow into it. Well, I realized at the time, and those weren't very reliable,
Yeah, sometimes.
And the one time that you really needed to use it, right? You go to use it, and the battery was
Yes.
dead. Yeah, but you didn't want to let the guy know
Right.
the
Okay,
battery
blow
was dead.
anyways. I'll tell him to
Yeah,
stop.
there you go. So I realized how many other uses you could use this portable breath test for. It was insane.
Yeah.
I used it a time or two as another lie detector. You know, you ask them a question, have them blow into the tube, and tell them they were lying. I said I did that, right? I meant I saw this done once. I actually saw another.
Take that out.
I actually saw another officer use it as a fishing line moisture meter.
That's so funny.
Right when you're checking fishermen, and
Yeah.
and you know, guy says, I wasn't fishing. Well, I was just watching you with a pair of binoculars for the last 15 minutes you were fishing. That's just your pole laying in the weeds? No, that's not my pole. So you'd pick it up, and of course you put a tube on it, and you run the monofilament line down the tube and say, it's got, 38% moisture in it. That tells me somebody's been using this rod in the last 10 minutes.
And they're like, oh.
Otherwise, a fishing line moisture meter.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That's genius.
when we do it waterfowl enforcement, we would use it to check presence for. I'm trying to think when non-toxic shot requirements started in about 1980,
Oh,
82,
okay.
84, 85. See, before then you could shoot lead, and then the whole issue of lead poisoning in
In the
waterfowl.
waters, yeah.
So then the feds came up with a non-toxic shot requirement, and the only non-toxic shot at the time was steel, and it was for a number of years.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you determine when you're checking duck hunters and goose hunters in the field? How do you know if it's lead shot or it's steel shot? Well, the simplest thing we did was we carried a magnet, and you'd hold the magnet up to the crimped edge of the shotgun shell, and if it stuck, then it was steel. There you
Yep.
go. If it didn't stick, it ain't steel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably lead.
Yep.
You cut the shell open, and there you go. But waterfowl hunters who were carrying lead got a lot smarter. Like, they'd be watching for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if they saw you, they'd get rid of that lead shot, right? They'd either dump it down their waders, or they're buried in the mud, or they chuck it away. So it kind of forced us to look for other evidence that they were using lead. Sometimes the type of wad they were using in lead shot shells would indicate.
Oh
And if they've
yeah, I
been
didn't think about that.
Yeah, if they've been shooting a while, you could find these wads laying around and think, oh, these guys are using lead.
Yeah. I would assume the lead would more of a transfer on the wad than steel.
Yeah, yeah. And the type of wad they were using was a little different. Because the steel obviously wasn't as effective as lead at killing.
Right.
So guys didn't want to use steel because I wasn't getting the power, the punch.
Yep.
It wasn't holding the pattern as well because of the type of material it was and the type of cup they were using, the wad. But anyway, we'd look for these wads, and they're like, oh, this is probably lead shot. We know they probably took the lead shot and they buried it somewhere. So once again, I saw an opportunity to use this portable breath test as a lead shot residue detector.
Yeah.
And I'd put one of those tubes in it, stick in the end of their gun barrel, and say, you've been shooting lead shot shells out of this? Of course, they'd say no, and I'd say, well, it shows here that you got 38 parts per. I always use 38 parts per billion of lead. Somebody's used this gun in the last 3 or 4 or 5 shots, or this residue wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really care how many lead shot shells you shot, whether it's 1 or 6. It really doesn't matter to me. Do you have any more left? He said, no, I just shot the last one. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So I made some cases with it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I did make some cases with it, but of the ones I didn't, I'm sure they went home telling a pretty good story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun how something as simple as that, and people are like, God, I'm cooked, and you have no idea. You're just hoping for the best. Swing it, and getting them.
I saw a guy use it one time to determine the time of death on a dead white-tailed deer in the back of somebody's pickup truck.
Wow.
Put the tube in the deer's nose and say this thing's only been dead like 2.5 hours,
And it worked on that.
I can neither confirm nor deny if it worked on that particular one, sir.
I had a friend that killed I think he was 170, 171 inch giant buck, and he went to go check it in, and DNR was there, and they ran a thermometer up the deer's nose, and they did all kinds of tests right there. It was a legit kill, but they did all kinds of tests right there on the deer head to confirm it wasn't overnight, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the only data we had, and a lot of the stuff they're still using today dates back to this mid '80s data they collected in determining time of death.
Okay.
And it was collecting mainly temperatures from certain areas of the deer. They were collecting vitreous humor, which was the liquid in the eyeballs.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you notice, when a deer is dead for an hour, you'll start to see that cloud.
Yep.
And after a while, the more time goes on, longer it's been dead, then that cloud starts
Yep.
to grow. So they use that as an indicator. And we took that training in college.
Oh, okay.
At Sens University. And we would go to the check stations, and the students would be the ones using these thermometers and taking temperatures
That's
in
cool.
the hip and the nose and the shoulder and different places. And you would take these temperatures, collect a little bit of data from the people that harvested the deer.
Yeah.
Like how long ago was it you shot it? How did you transport it? Has it been field dressed? That was a factor or not. Those things, you'd plug it into this mathematical formula, and it would give you a range of how long that deer had been dead.
Would you need permission to check someone's deer? Like, can I check the temperatures on your deer? Or they tell you to kick rocks, or you're here to check it in? We're doing it anyways.
Right. Well, at the time the biologists are collecting it at the check station, they're doing it on a voluntary basis, and the biologists typically ask them.
Okay.
Like when they age a deer, they'll say, hey, do you mind if I age your deer? Because by doing so, they have to cut that flesh back to the jawbone to see those last couple molars in the back. And they'll typically ask them that. When we did it in the field, we would ask, but more often than not, we're looking for other indicators. And if there are other indicators that tell me that this deer was probably taken during or prior to or after legal shooting hours,
Right.
I took those temperatures without asking them.
Right. Okay.
Right. But once again, I hit that level of reasonable suspicion for the detainment to
Yes.
stop, and in this case, to detain his deer to further my investigation. Now, if I had to take a tissue sample from that to send to the lab, little different story.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm making a seizure at that point in time, so I would typically have to get a warrant to cut
Gotcha.
out that tissue and send it to
Wow.
the lab. Yeah.
Okay. It all depends on the circumstance of it then.
I know that
Yeah.
because the first piece of tissue that I cut out as a young officer, I did it without a warrant, and I lost that case in a suppression hearing. So
Dang it.
There you go. Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes, I guess.
And I made a few mistakes.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
we all do. I know I'll make more. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, but I didn't make that one
Again.
again. Correct. Yeah, I always got a warrant.
Yep. Yeah. I love that PBT story. That's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And the fact that it worked.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you've been hunting a long time as well. That's why you're in DNR, because
sure.
you enjoy
Yeah.
hunting.
And see, that's we as conservation officers, game wardens, if you will, we battle that. It was a constant battle for us as officers, convincing the folks that we dealt with on a day-to-day basis that we were there for them.
Yeah,
Too
absolutely.
many times it was they thought we were their adversary. We're not. We're hunters.
Yeah.
We're fishermen. We trap.
That's why you want to
We
do that
camp.
job.
We boat. We do all these things that you do.
Yeah.
Right. And that was at times that was pretty tough to convince those folks that you were in fact their ally, when a lot of times they didn't look to you as an ally.
Yeah.
They looked to you as an adversary.
Absolutely.
Right. But yeah, I've been hunting and fishing all of my adult life. Been fishing since I was 7 or 8 years old, and been deer hunting since I was 13. Right?
Oh, no kidding.
Shooting a bow since I was 10.
That's
the whole
awesome.
9 yards. Yeah, started chewing tobacco about that same time too. You know.
Gosh, that's the story. Whenever I bring you up to people that have known you, like, oh, that's the guy like the half a can of chew in his mouth, like that. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
I think you
guy.
took my best friend. Going back to that, I think you took his can of chew because he had just a little dip in his mouth, and you took like half his can, like crammed it in your lip.
Yeah. Well, I actually started chewing tobacco, and it wasn't dipping. I dipped skull one time or two in college.
Yeah.
And I got sicker than hell.
Oh,
So
I can't chew. I will puke. 100% every time I will
no,
puke.
I started. Well, I did some undercover work
Uh-huh.
for the DNR starting in about 1990, and I didn't drink, didn't smoke. I was at peak fitness. I was doing a lot of weightlifting,
Mhm.
and I looked like a cop.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I had to do some things and say some things that.
I've got a question about something I heard, but keep going what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. So
I just wrote that down.
I started chewing tobacco. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I'm like, okay. And one of the cases we were working on at the time, I started chewing plug tobacco. So that was my first
Yeah.
experience. True Kentucky twist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The hardcore, you just take it. And,
Yep.
And I started that in 1990, and I just put it away last February. So there you
Oh,
go.
no kidding.
Yeah, I did.
Good for you. How hard's that been?
It's been tough. I mean, if I don't talk about it,
Well, sorry to
it's
bring
pretty-
that up.
That's all right.
I brought you a
got
log.
You got a bag with you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a pinch in my, I had a half a bag of Red Man or
Yeah.
Levi Garrett or something in my mouth most of my career.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I realized, you know what? I still got my health. I still got all my teeth.
Hey.
Time to
Yeah. Good for you.
count my blessings and
From
and on
yeah.
with it.
Golly. That's a big step.
It was a huge step, and when I started chewing that stuff, it was $1.39 a bag.
Oh gosh, what is it now? $6 to $8 for a little one?
No, for a regular 4-ounce bag like
Yeah.
Red Man,
Yeah.
it's $13 a bag.
Is it that much now?
Yes,
Good
sir.
Lord.
I may or may not have been chewing a bag to a bag and a half a day.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's expensive
that
fast.
was part of my persona.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're saving that money.
I'm saving that money.
There you go.
I got to realizing that's a truck payment.
Yeah. Right? In a year? Yeah.
Yeah. there you go.
Gosh.
So, yeah, I chewed that became part of my persona for a good while.
Yep.
And I did that when I worked undercover, and it kind of stuck, and did it ever since.
Yeah. So the story I heard, and it may or may not be true, to gain that you're doing undercover work and to gain trust from somebody that you were working with, you had to eat something involved a cat and a deep fryer. Does that jar a memory at all?
It does. I wish I could say something like, I do not recall, but I recall that vivid memory.
Oh.
Right? So, in working in an undercover capacity, particularly when you're engaging with your target suspects,
Yeah.
you got to build trust, build rapport.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of these guys didn't have much couth, right?
Yeah.
You know they were criminal, but a lot of them were pretty hardcore human beings.
Right.
Yeah. So in order to gain his trust, he dared me that I wouldn't eat a deep fried cat turd.
God.
I will tell you, I won that bet. And I will also tell you, I didn't report that income either to my department or the IRS. But
Or your wife when you kissed her when you got
Oh
home.
no. It was it was a very well fed cat, if I remember correctly. But yeah, and I think it was some sort of beer batter at the time. But I'm a firm believer since then that if you coat something in beer batter or wrap it in bacon,
You can eat anything.
I just about eat anything.
Yeah,
I've eaten every form of snake, and
yeah.
I ate several possums until I saw one crawl out of a dead cow one day. Then I didn't eat any more possums.
Yep.
Yeah.
I skinned think it was a raccoon at one time because I planned on eating it and I skinned it and had it hanging up. It was like dripping all the fat. And I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, I've had some pretty decent coon.
I would eat it if someone else cooked it. I couldn't do it and eat it myself.
Right.
I couldn't bring myself to it.
Wow.
My neighbor, it was a coyote backstrap he cooked up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you wrap it in bacon or
I didn't get to eat it.
deep fried or?
I didn't get to try it. If he'd have cooked, he'd have said, "Hey, this is coyote," I'd have eaten it. But yeah, he told me after
come on,
the
they're
fact.
doing that with Oreo cookies and everything
Yeah,
else
right.
at the state fair. Why can't you do it with a cat?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Speaking of deep frying stuff, something we talked about before, because something I thought was like, didn't even think about this, because you talked about ginseng being big, on people stealing ginseng and undercover for ginseng because it's going all out of country. Same thing with caviar. Deer testicles were big on that as well for out of country. That's something I never knew was a big deal.
Yeah, and of course, when I was engaged in some of those undercover investigations,
Yeah.
most of them were long term. So we
Okay.
were making contact with these folks on a very routine basis, but it would last a year, sometimes as long as 2 years.
Wow.
But it was one of those things that we stumbled upon. We had a group of guys in the southern part of the state. We had an informant
Mm-hmm.
that became a very good informant, and we paid him for a good period of time for information. But to make a long story short, he had 13 different names of suspects that lived in one particular community that were engaged in all kinds of criminal activity.
Yeah. Now, is that wildlife criminal activity or just in general criminal activity?
Yeah, a lot of it was wildlife criminal activity, and of course, as we found out, a lot of guys who were involved in criminal activity were also involved in wildlife, or guys who are involved in wildlife criminal activity probably are engaged in other criminal activity,
Yeah.
whether it was drugs or theft or burglaries or wherever the case may be. But
Right.
we got these 13 names, and we worked on these 13 names, and we had in little less than 2 years, we probably had 11 of those 13 names as defendants. Some
Wow.
of them with as many as 30, 40 charges.
Ooh, big charges.
Most of them wildlife related.
Gosh.
We bought a lot of dope, particularly or specifically. Most of it was marijuana at that time. We
Yeah.
did those as confidence buys.
Yeah.
And of course, we charged them with it later. But we were buying, and they were killing deer and selling them, and not just for the meat, but we found that they had a market for deer testicles. So
That's
it's kind of like the bear gallbladder stories in the
Oh,
Rocky
yeah,
Mountains
okay.
from the 80s,
Yeah.
where people were killing the bears and just taking the gallbladders out and
Yep.
selling them in the Asian market. And the intel we had gotten was that they were doing the same thing with deer testicles, that they were being harvested, sold, bought, and sold in the Asian market as an aphrodisiac, as cure-alls.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember it. That depending upon the size of the deer and obviously the size of the testicles,
Right.
we were buying testicles for $50 for a set of nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah. And back then in 1990, it was $50 was a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding. Even now, I'm paying $50 for deer balls.
Oh yeah.
Here, chew on that. You'll be hard for weeks.
Well, that's why I made the $50 bet to
Yeah.
eat the cat turd. I'm making up for having it.
Yeah. Right.
So,
I
yeah,
need
they
to get
were-
my money back.
So we started making some of these buys as confidence buys until we could determine exactly where they
Yeah.
were going with these things. And at the same time, in a few counties over from
Mhm.
where we were working, another covert team had established a covert storefront,
Wow.
which was very similar to the one we're sitting in right now. They did taxidermy work,
Yeah, yeah.
processed deer. They did that for a period of about 2 years. They dealt with a lot of legitimate business,
Mhm.
but the way to illegitimate business was
Yeah.
through legitimate business.
Yeah.
So If I wasn't making contact, working on this case, we were processing deer, helping process a deer in the covert store,
Right.
or reviewing video, from the day before or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. All this deer going to the processor, no balls on them. You're like, red flag.
Yep. I thought you were going to ask me if I've ever eaten a set of deer balls.
That was going to be my next
That'd
thing.
be a big negative.
Really?
No, I have not.
No?
I remember my partner challenging me to do that, because he said, at the end of the day, if we have to go to court over this, we want you to be an expert witness.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Right? And I said, I'll pass. Right? So inevitably what they would do is they would dry these, grind them up in a powder, and then add them to certain things to consume.
Yeah.
But even then.
I'm surprised you didn't try them. All the things you tried, I'm surprised you didn't.
Right. I drew the line at certain things, right?
I'll eat poop. I'm not eating balls.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. If it was all, like I said, if it was cooked up, deep fried, Rocky Mountain Oysters, I'll try it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the annual conferences of the NOWIA, the North American Wildlife Enforcement, one of the annual conferences I went to was in Omaha. The state of Nebraska. Fish and Game folks hosted it, and they hosted it the same time they had their annual Testicle Festival.
Oh,
so
wow.
Omaha has, everybody's got their apple festival and corn.
Yeah.
Well, Omaha has
Testicle Festival.
Testicle Festival. And I'm telling you what, some of the best nuts I ever eat. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to know the worst.
Yeah, we had we ate some cow nuts, we ate pig nuts. Some of the best.
Yeah.
It's going to sound weird. Turkey nuts. Deep fried turkey nuts.
No kidding.
Yeah. And they came in a little like a snow cone.
You
sleeve.
said game.
Huh?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you said game.
Strike that. They were distributed when you purchase them in a snow cone, like a paper snow cone sleeve, and they'd have a few little dipping sauces. And
I'll
man.
be darned. Again, someone else cooked it. Someone else retrieved them. I would try it.
Right.
But to have them, like, I don't know. It's crazy that the market is so large for that.
Oh yeah. It was, and that was all, to me, it was all part of the game that I told you about earlier, about learning and watching and picking up and figuring out what's going on, what could potentially be coming, just to make yourself a little bit bigger and better.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. If you could go back in the 31 years of being CEO, is there anything you would do differently with it? Like, would you stay on the road for the entire time? Would you go, I wouldn't say work your way into the office, because that sounds miserable.
No, I wouldn't change that part of it at all. I had my opportunities to do it. I took one promotional exam in my career, and that was in 2011. And that was for an investigator position, which I'd already spent a great deal of time doing anyway. No, I wouldn't change that at all. Honestly, I don't know. The only thing that I would change is that I don't know that I would have engaged in so many different responsibilities at the same time, like I was describing to you earlier.
Right.
It started to affect my family life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, and that would be the only thing that I would change. I was fast paced, and I was fast paced for. Well, if you talk to the folks in the community I worked, and the guys that I used to work with, I was a go do for 30 years, and I still remember my lieutenant saying, when I told him I was going to retire, he said, "Your goal for this next year is to finish as strong as you did the first year you were here."
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I said, "Giddy up."
Did you do it?
I did it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Come in with a bang, go out with a bang.
Yeah. Figuring I'd probably spend the next year in court.
Yeah, after you retire.
After I retire.
That's no joke.
Yeah, but as fate would have it, I didn't have to spend that time in court. But I will tell you, I had to testify last week in a cold case homicide investigation that I was involved with in it was 12 years ago, 2013.
Holy cow. Okay.
So,
and it's still ongoing case.
Yeah, it went to the went to the jury 2 days after I testified, and they found him guilty on all charges. It was a cold
13
case
years deep.
homicide. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, I can't remember a lot of times what I had for breakfast that morning, let alone
Right.
something that I was involved with 13 years ago. But
Jeez.
I will tell you that I kept good notes.
Mhm.
I kept good records at the time, and those notes and records
Yeah.
saved my ass in court.
Oh,
last
absolutely.
week. So
You say last week? Is that what you did?
that was just last week.
Last
yeah.
week. Wow.
Yeah, a 12-year-old cold case homicide.
Wow. Now, that had to do with anything with the wildlife or right place, right time?
No, we got involved in all kinds of criminal investigations.
Yeah.
Some of them were predicated by some sort of fish and wildlife call, or a lot of them weren't.
Okay.
Just because we were in that rural area, as you know, we were community-oriented policing
Yeah.
agency. So in this particular case, I knew the victim.
Oh, wow.
He was an 83-year-old man who lived in a very, very rural area by himself. Well, I deer hunted out there around him,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent a lot of time out in that area, on duty and off duty. So
Right.
I got to know him, and they found him dead one morning. Had been the victim of a burglary and homicide,
Wow.
multiple gunshot wounds. So I got involved with that, not because I volunteered to do it, but as fate would have it, I ran into these two suspects
Okay.
in my normal patrols the very next morning.
Oh, wow. And
And
had
I
no idea they were involved, or did you have some kind of thought they
I
might have
did
been?
not at the time, but yeah, I knew these two. I knew these two cats, and I knew what they were capable of at the time. So
Right.
I took good notes, made a few phone calls, passed the information along, and then fast forward to September of last year when I had a detective show up at the academy
Wow.
saying, "Hey, remember that case?" Matter of fact, I do. He said, "I just inherited the case. I've got like 5 or 6 banker boxes full of documents," and he said,
Whoa.
your name's in a lot of those documents." I said, "I remember." Is there any way you can document this, and this? And our electronic records management system, I said, we entered that kind of stuff every day in our computer.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how long they keep that stuff on the server. Made a couple phone calls. All those records were still there. So,
No kidding.
yeah.
Wow.
They ended up interviewing, there were two, there's actually 3 of them involved. They interviewed the 2 main players.
Mhm.
One of them admitted, one of them didn't. The
Yeah.
one that did came up with an alibi. My encounter with them the following morning destroyed his alibi. So,
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah.
What was their motive?
Their motive was to break in the house because they knew he had pills and money.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. They didn't expect him to be home. And
That's
he was
terrible.
home, and they startled him out of bed, and
Yeah.
they shot and killed him.
Gosh. Well, at least they're where they need to be now. Took 13 years, but they're there.
Yeah. I hate to say never, better late than never, because I knew their family.
Yeah.
And I actually talked to a couple of the family members when I testified and told them I'd like to sit down and have a conversation with them
Yeah.
at some point in time. Probably 13 years overdue, but that conversation's coming.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now they can relax knowing that justice has been served for them.
At least to bring some closure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine if I were in their shoes, understanding this thing's been unresolved for that long a
Yep.
period of time.
And that'd be hard to reopen it because once 13 years, I mean, it doesn't go away, but it gets easier to deal with. And then it all gets brought back up. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's like
Open-
a giant roller coaster ride,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
ripping scabs off of wounds that have been closed for years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what I used to tell you in report writing. Keep good notes, be accurate, be
Yep.
detailed, and that stuff's going to save you one of these days, and
Yeah.
it did. Thank God.
Yeah. That's what, even on like for tickets, I'm sure they're not the only one that does it. They have the prosecutor notes and the officer notes. You get down with the traffic stop, I mean,
write down
hammer out notes.
information.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically what we were having to do. We had to keep an electronic day book
Okay.
or a diary. So
Yeah.
we kept track of everything we did, because our funding at the time come from so many different places. That funding was allocated based upon the amount of time that you were spending in that activity.
Yeah.
So we had to break down our 8-hour workday. I spent 4 hours doing boating patrol. I spent 2 hours checking fishermen. I spent the other hour and a half on my ATV doing this. I spent an hour in court, and we had to break all that stuff down and
Yeah.
then add notes to it. We did that every day.
That's a lot. Now we have the body cam, just boom, boom. There you go. There's my notes.
Yeah, it's easier.
That's so convenient.
I had a revolver with 12 rounds in dump pouches when I started.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there you go.
Oh, man. The times have changed.
Yeah, if somebody had told me at that time, when you retire, you'll be carrying wireless computers in
Yeah.
your car, accessing state and federal databases, and carrying machine guns, I would have told them they were full of shit.
Laugh in their face.
Yeah,
This is
but,
top of the line. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, by God, when I retired, we had all that.
Yep. I remember when I first started, I got in law enforcement in 2013. And I was told by the time I retire, we're going to have scopes on our handguns. And I'm picturing like scopes on our handguns. I'm like, yeah, right. Now we have red dots, which is a scope on our handgun. It's like, holy cow.
There you go.
So, yeah. And when they
Yeah.
first said that in 2013, I'm like, there's no way. I wasn't even a thing. A red dot? No way.
Yeah, you had to change. I mean, they told me when I first come on we wouldn't have fishing line moisture meters, but by God, we made that happen.
We made it work.
We made it work. We made it work.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The things you've had to do, things you did do.
The things I witnessed, you should say.
I think,
sir.
yeah, there you go. That's even a better way of putting it. The
Yeah.
things you witnessed.
Yeah. So sometimes, as a conservation officer, protecting fish, wildlife, flora, and fauna,
Yeah.
you reach a stage where a certain species becomes or is in need of extra protection
Mhm.
because of overharvest, because of loss of habitat, because there's the increased need for the harvest.
Yeah.
So back in the mid 80s, first of the 90s, mussels, freshwater mussels,
Mhm.
were a thing. They became a thing. Because those freshwater mussels were used to make cultured pearls. Freshwater
Really?
mussel shells.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, the majority of the freshwater mussel shells were in certain portions of the White River and the Wabash River.
Yeah.
So anytime that you attach a monetary value, a street dollar value, to a species of wildlife or plant
Mhm.
or fish, you create the innate need for people to go out and harvest it and make a buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many times this spring did you see on Facebook Marketplace or some other place that people were selling mushrooms?
Oh, a ton.
Or else, yeah.
40, 50, 60 bucks a pound.
Selling deer balls.
Yeah.
Right, so you'd go out, shoot a deer, cut the deer's nuts off. They're paying X amount of dollars for mussel shells, and of course, a lot of those at the time were being shipped overseas, where they were making cultured pearls out
Yeah.
of mussel shells.
Where they crunch them up or
Yeah, they
That's
break
right.
them up, crunch them up, and they would put a piece of the freshwater mussel inside these other mussels.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
would cultured pearl, and they make a
Oh,
lot of
be
money. on it.
darned. Okay.
So that puts an unnecessary strain on that species because everybody, and oh my goodness, that time, I think the whole thing started in and around Tennessee, and I can't remember which river system in Tennessee, but we started seeing guys in contiguous states taking all the mussels, freshwater mussels, and they would use these long braille bars, they call them, which are kind of like a body drag.
Yeah.
It's a big metal bar with little hooks on it.
Yep.
You drop it to the bottom, drag it along, and course, the mussel sits on the bottom like this with the shell open, and when that tongue would come by, it would close up on them,
Yeah.
and guys would start taking mussels to the boat. Well, it forced our biologists at the time, but they really didn't know a lot about mussel biology. You know, how they reproduce, what kind of habitat do they need, where do they typically gravitate to, how long does it take for them to mature, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So next thing you know, they're stopping and saying, holy crap, we don't have any mussels left. It's a
No
natural,
kidding.
a very important part of the freshwater ecosystem in
Mhm.
a lot of these rivers and tributaries.
Yeah.
So, of course, they shut the season off because they had an established season.
Okay.
For 'em. And then they started assigning our folks to do surveillance details. Some of them started out of state because a lot of these guys that were collecting these shells would hit these river systems, and when they run out of mussels, they'd go to the next state.
Yeah.
They'd go to the next river system.
They start draining them all. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started noticing they started having some water-related deaths because
Okay.
these guys, they didn't use the braille bars anymore. They would use self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Oh, my
They
gosh.
didn't want to spend the money on scuba gear.
Yeah.
So they would do the cheap route, right? And they'd put a compressor on their boat, and they'd hook a guy up with a hose.
Rock, paper, scissors. Who gets to go down first?
Right, and they'd be wandering around the bottom collecting mussel shells. And some of these guys got, they died. They either drowned or they ended up dying because they had carbon monoxide poisoning.
Coming up too fast.
No, because most of them were in relatively
Oh, were they?
shallow
Okay.
depths. But we started doing some surveillance on them guys, and that was kind of opened my eyes to, oh wow, wonder what species next
Yep.
is going to be in need. And we went through the bald eagle thing in the early.
I don't think I
80s.
recall the bald eagle.
Yeah, bald eagles were endangered at the time, and
Mhm.
of course, we had very few nesting bald eagles in Indiana, and the ones that they had
Huh.
recorded were in certain areas of the South. And then on or about 2000-ish, that's when we noticed, wow, commercial fishermen are catching a lot of paddlefish and sturgeon, and they're cutting the fish open and taking the eggs, and they're throwing the rest of the fish away.
Yeah.
So the last 2 years that I worked, I spent, right at 2 years, I spent every day on a boat on the river system, the Wabash River system,
Mhm.
the Ohio River.
Yeah.
I've been on every stretch of the river from Lafayette all the way downstream to its confluence with the Ohio, and then from the Ohio upstream to about Cannleton, Tell City.
Gosh.
And we did nothing but focus our patrol efforts on commercial fishermen that
Yeah.
were targeting egg-bearing species, which were sturgeon in the Wabash
Jeez.
River Valley and paddlefish in the Ohio River Valley. And man,
God.
I'm here to tell you that was the most fun I had in the entire 30 years.
No, on the boat and
Yeah,
doing
that-
all that. That's a
yeah.
lot. So how many miles do you even know how many miles that is that you've ran from Lafayette down?
Yeah, it's a bunch. I think at the time I had 1, 2, 3. I think I had 4 different types of patrol boats issued to me at the time. We did a lot of this. We did all of it on the overt side, but we did it all plainclothes, unmarked boats.
Yeah.
It involved everything from surveillance. We laid on the riverbank in a ghillie suit and waited for certain commercial fishermen to come by and check their nets so we could record them. A lot of times we didn't even know where their nets were. So we would
Okay.
lay in a riverbank in a ghillie suit with a video camera and find
Wow.
out where they were, and then we'd mark them and go check them later. And we started building a network of intelligence. This is an organized crime
Yeah, yeah.
syndicate. So at the time, Indiana had a season, and they had license requirements for
Mhm.
people that went out to catch roe-bearing species or egg-bearing species of fish.
Yeah.
Sturgeon, and there's a season for it. and there was a buying season. So we had licensed
Okay.
we had licensed harvesters that were the commercial fishermen that had to buy a special license, and it wasn't cheap
Right.
to harvest them, and then they could only sell those eggs to licensed egg or rural buyers. And at the time, I think we had maybe 5 or 6 of them in Indiana.
Okay.
But ultimately, these eggs would find themselves being, once again, not 90% of it or better was being shipped overseas.
Yep.
So it had to be they were processed here, and they went through customs, and most of them went out of the country overseas.
Yeah.
To fill the European market caviar.
Wow.
So I learned more about caviar in a year and a half than I cared to. Right.
Now, did you try that?
100% did.
Like raw out of the fish caviar?
Right out of the fish's guts which was the unprocessed,
Yeah.
to the processed stuff. Yeah, several different kinds actually.
They all taste different from sturgeon to paddlefish?
Oh yeah,
Does it?
it's an acquired taste, but obviously the fully processed, and there's basically 2 steps in processing raw fish eggs.
I don't think it'd be that
water
much.
and salt.
Yeah.
It's not much, but obviously the processed ones taste a little bit, but it's an acquired taste. But
Yeah.
and once again, I felt like we had to, because we made a lot of criminal cases.
Oh,
at
I'm
that time.
sure.
Yeah,
That's a large stretch of river to not pull a lot of cases off of.
we were working on a task force with two other states, three other states, and the Fish and Wildlife Service
Okay.
at the time. And we dealt with the Fish and Wildlife Service because these rivers and tributaries crossed interstate and intrastate
Yeah,
boundaries.
yeah.
So,
I can see that.
yeah, good stuff. We was in a boat, 12 months out of the year. I mean, there's nothing colder. And I've been,
Wow. Oh,
I worked in a
yeah.
lot of cold weather, and being on a John boat in the middle of winter on the
Oh.
Ohio River. So
That'd
it's
have been
cold.
terrible. Ohio River's huge, too.
It is.
And blasting across that.
Right.
Yeah, that'd have been brutal.
Yeah.
So they still ran nets in the dead of winter?
Matter of fact, paddlefish, that was some of the most popular time. The
No
season,
kidding.
if I'm not mistaken, they typically started late fall, early winter, and because of the fact that we shared the Ohio River with the state of Kentucky,
Yep.
that their commercial regulations, they allowed different types of gear, so you could use gill nets
Okay.
that fit certain criteria, right?
Yeah.
Commercial fishermen could only use them, number one, but you couldn't use gill nets in the Wabash River.
Could not.
No, you could
Okay.
you could use other types of commercial fishing gear, other types of nets, but you couldn't use gill nets. Gill nets are
Okay.
indiscriminatory. So you stretch this big long gill net across certain stretches of the river, and it didn't selectively pick out what kind
Right.
of fish. You're going to catch any
You're
and
catching
all.
everything.
Yeah, most of them died.
Oh, yeah. Struggling trying to get out.
Right.
You
right.
jack that gill up, they're dead anyways.
Which was the reason for the regulations.
Yeah. Was it from Kentucky to Indiana, were the regulations pretty different, or are they pretty mirrored?
Yeah. It's a great question.
Wild West down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's where we as an agency kind of struggled
Yeah.
with the state of Kentucky over simple boundary issues, and then what regulations, and of course a lot of those eggs, commercial fishermen that were licensed to take roe in Indiana waters, a lot of times would drive across the river to Kentucky to sell the eggs.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Do they
So-
not care as much?
Let's just say we had a much more concerted enforcement effort in Indiana than they did in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
If you guys went to, or did you go to Kentucky to do any work as well to follow people, and did they welcome you, or are they pretty salty at the fact that you're over there in their jurisdiction?
Yeah, another good question. We, in Indiana, as conservation officer, we also were duly appointed and commissioned
Mhm.
as deputy game wardens with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Okay.
So which gave us federal authority
Yep.
on wildlife investigations that took us to the contiguous states.
There you go.
So, yeah, we spent a lot of time in Kentucky, spent a ton of time in Illinois, and working those river systems.
Oh, yeah.
And some in Ohio as well.
So the Ohio River itself, because the Wabash flows into the Ohio, correct?
Yep.
And from the Ohio River, it's huge.
Upstream, yeah,
Yep.
up through Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of those tributaries too, for example, were closed to commercial fishing in Indiana.
Yeah.
But in another state like Ohio or the next state across the river, Kentucky, they allowed commercial fishing in some of those tributaries.
Yeah.
And the boundaries aren't like going out here on a county road and saying there's a state line. When you're talking about where those
Right.
boundaries are in a tributary, sometimes it's kind of difficult.
How do you draw that line, or do you?
Yeah, the best you can.
Yeah.
Use the best resources you can.
That'd be
And
hard.
then you reach out to the state of Kentucky and say, I'm not really sure, but what are your regulations? I'm telling them,
Yeah.
I'm saying this is Indiana. He's using this gear. He can't, he's going to have to move his nets, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah. So if Kentucky's like, no, they're good. You could be like, okay,
Yeah.
have a good day.
Sometimes it
Oh,
was
that's
like
hard to
that.
walk away from.
Well, we didn't walk away from it a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Especially on the federal level,
Right.
you could do what you needed to do.
Sometimes we took the nets and we put them into court and let the chips fall where they may. I mean.
Oh yeah.
it's-
If you get them back, you get them back. If you don't, sorry about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the intelligence gathering portion of that was just absolutely fascinating. And
That would be. There's a lot more to it than you can even imagine. Anybody could imagine.
there were out of all the Midwest row dealers
Mm-hmm.
or row buyers, I should say. Of course, a lot of the bigger ones were along the Mississippi River.
Right.
Most of the eggs, of course, we would follow these eggs. They went to two main wholesale buyers that were shipping these out of the country, and both of these folks were tied to Russia, number one,
Okay.
and one of them had ties to the Russian mob.
Oh.
So
wow.
it was an organized crime
Yeah.
that we were investigating, but it was on a fish and wildlife scale. So that was pretty cool.
Geez, that would be
Yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah.
Now, did you end up shutting a lot of these places down to where Russia wasn't getting their eggs anymore?
Well, that was clearly not our intent, but as a result of it, some of the licensed row harvesters
Yeah.
shut down, quit doing it. Because at the end of the day, it required stricter regulations on
Right.
the row bearing industry, and that shut a lot of the commercial fishermen down.
Yeah. People
And
are
it
trying
shut-
to do it right.
Sure. And unfortunately, that's the side effect.
Yeah.
It even hurts the guys that were doing it right.
Yeah.
And of course, it shut a lot of the buyers down.
Oh,
Of course,
absolutely.
When you put a couple of the buyers in prison, federal prison, that shuts some of it down.
Exactly. Word gets out fast on that one.
Right.
Is it the same as intense for caviar as it was for the ginseng then? I know ginseng hunters
same.
now. I mean, there's some old timers that if they catch you in their ginseng, they'll shoot you. Like, it's a big deal to them.
Right. And people don't understand it.
Yeah.
The commercial fishermen were the same way.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. They and a lot of them got to the point where they wouldn't mark their nets
Mhm.
visibly, just to hide them from other people trying to steal them or take their fishing spot.
Oh, okay.
Right, something like that. So we had to use sonar and
Wow.
sometimes to find them. We would just good old fashioned intel.
Yep.
A lot of hours sitting in a boat watching or sitting on the riverbank
Man.
watching. Yeah. The ginseng was kind of a result of the same thing.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, ginseng prices go up. Of course, all the ginseng root that's collected here, that has to all be certified
Okay.
before it leaves the state and eventually leaves the country.
Yeah.
So our officers have to certify these large shipments of dried root that is in fact ginseng. We certify it; it gets shipped out. And I think at one time when we were involved in some of these investigations, prices for dried ginseng were upwards of $600 a pound.
Whoa.
So
Gosh.
yeah. So once again, you put a price, a monetary value on a resource like a ginseng root,
Hmm. Yeah.
then people are going to go out and make a buck.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And people were raping some of these places a lot of times from landowners they didn't have permission from.
Yep.
Some of those were harvesting ginseng. Some of them were even trying to grow their own cultivated
Oh,
roots.
wow.
Or trying to propagate their wild roots so where they could harvest them eventually.
Yeah.
And But and again, you've got a season for harvesting the roots. You had licensed buyers that
Yeah.
had to keep accurate records
Yep.
to provide to the DNR every year, and it was an administrative license that what they were required to have. So it involved a lot of looking in records, weights and measures. I never thought as a cop I'd be working with an agency like weights and measures.
Right. It's like I got out of math to not have to do that.
Right.
Now I'm right back into it.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
So if the product you're trying to sell, it's kind of like the drug trade, right?
Yeah.
If the product you're trying to sell is based on weight, you better hope the guy's scale that's buying it from you is accurate, because a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
them weren't.
oh, okay.
So, and a lot of, let's just say, all of them. But we had root buyers that were altering their records,
Okay.
fabricating records. So on occasion, we would bring dry ginseng root to them.
Mhm.
We would weigh that root on a certified scale ahead of time, photograph it,
Yep.
bring it in, see how their scales compared, what they were paying us to do it based on the weight, and how much they were telling us to put in their records.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that.
And we found that a lot of these, once again, not a lot of, we had some root buyers that were fabricating their records. Why would they fabricate their records? It wasn't for tax reasons. It's because a lot of times some of these guys were buying root when the season was closed.
Yep.
And then when the season opened, they created an avenue to start laundering
Yeah.
that
They leave that
preseason
gap.
root.
You bring in 10 pounds and say, we're going to give you X amount, and we're going to leave that 1 pound gap to throw in our own.
Yeah, but they were in pounds. A lot of times they were in ounces. But it had to take some ingenuity to figure out those numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I brought in 8 ounces of dried root and then sold it to a guy,
Mhm.
and he would tell me, "Hey, do me a favor, only put down on the log that I bought 6 ounces." And I said, "Wait a minute, I weighed this before I got here, and your scale say 8." He goes, "I'm going to pay you for 8,
Write down 6.
but
So-
write down 6." That way he could take 2 ounces of what he had bought prior to the season, throw it in. Now he's laundered that, and it's
Yeah.
legit. So
Wow.
at the end of the day, with that one, and that was at least a year and a half long, made a few arrests.
Yeah.
But
Over ginseng. That's crazy.
yeah, but most importantly, we enacted or caused some positive legislative change.
Yeah.
We caused some changes in the rules to allow more stricter enforcement
Yeah.
of those ginseng laws, at least for a while, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's still a big thing. I've never ginseng hunted. Is it still a big thing now?
I'm assuming it is. I can't tell you what the price is right now. I've
Yeah.
been away from it for a while, but
I wouldn't have the slightest clue.
right. Ginseng, bloodroot, yellow root.
Yeah.
They're ginseng by far dried was paying the most at the time, but I will tell you of the criminal element that I've dealt with in 30 years. If a guy was going to be violating, I would think some of the root diggers
Mhm.
that were violators, they trespass, they steal
Oh,
root,
yeah.
they do this. They were some of the craftiest people that I dealt with.
Oh, I'm
in 30
sure.
years. They were pretty slick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably got away with a lot more than you caught him with.
Oh
Once it
yeah.
finally caught up to
You
him.
catch one of every 5.
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
6.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were tough to catch because they were crafty.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew their trade.
There's a lot of money in it, so they try to get good at what they do.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what a ginseng plant looked like. My focus for years wasn't on ginseng. It was on, deer, turkey, and fish, and pheasant, and quail, and ginseng. Really?
Oh, I see the red. That's the red berries. The only reason I know what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
So I had to latch on to. We had 1 or 2 guys in this district that were considered court experts on
Yeah.
ginseng, and learn, right? And that's all part of that game I was telling you about: getting, learning, being better.
Yeah.
And kind of learning your craft.
When you got into DNR, do you, I wouldn't say regret, but do you wish you'd have gone into like the sheriff's department or the police department or state police? I know DNR is a form of state police, but other than the wildlife, because I know it takes a lot of, I've talked to a lot of DNR officers, and they're like, I don't hunt very much, I don't get to fish very much, because during that prime hunting, fishing, they're working.
Yeah. The simple answer to that is no, I don't regret it at all. I used to preach to my students, and I still to this day. I think a career in conservation law enforcement is the Cadillac of law enforcement jobs, and on a number of different levels. The freedom to do what you needed to do or what you wanted to do in any given time was probably the most valuable aspect of it. Because I know with a lot of agencies, sheriff's departments, municipal police, I mean, you might have some of them have the regimented roll call, daily roll call, or you got called. We took calls for service every day. We took calls for service to the county sheriff's department when they were busy with other things.
Yeah. The DNR told me here.
Yeah, they helped
several times.
They helped us, so it was kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I can see that.
Number one, number two, we had the toys. If I would drive around in my truck, or if I woke up one day and thought, I really need to be on the river, checking commercial fishing nets, so I'd hook up my boat, one of my boats, and I'd dump it in the river and do that. And the next day,
you did when you wanted to. You didn't have to hey, this week you're doing the boat, this week you're doing road.
Right.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, the freedom of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to be driven, and you had to be. Most of the stuff was self-initiated.
Okay.
So you had to be driven, obviously. And we didn't have any set thing to do every day. Another thing was the transition time from season to season.
Yeah.
So I always look forward to getting in a patrol boat Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But by Labor Day weekend, I was ready to get the hell out of a boat.
Yep.
Right? And jump into hunting season, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of hunting season, you're kind of ready to transition into wintertime activities.
You don't burn yourself out.
Fishing. Yeah. That's when we did a lot of our public safety stuff and our outdoor education programs in schools and that kind of stuff. So it was constantly changing. You never stuck doing the same thing for more than a couple of months.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be nice with it, though. I was in the boat last weekend. We do boat patrol for the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And we were in the boat for like 5 hours. I'm like, oh. It was cold. It was overcast. There was 12 boats on the lake. That was a long 5 hours.
Yeah, see, this time of year, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we were in a patrol boat on a reservoir.
Yeah.
And that's dealing with a lot of people.
Yep. Going boat to boat to boat and checking. Yeah. We just checked for life jackets.
Sure.
We checked for. I guess we could do fishing licenses and things
drunks? You drunk?
No, I was hoping. Gosh, I was hoping to get one.
Right.
Except not just me this time. Like, I'm kidding. But
right. I know what you mean.
But yeah, I was hoping to find someone that was drinking and driving the boat, but yeah, we didn't get anybody.
I used to come home and tell my wife, or I'd get ready to go to work, and I'd say, I hope I catch a drunk. And she'd look at me and she'd go, why do you hope you catch a drunk? It's not that I hope somebody is drinking and driving. I just hope I am there to stop them or to catch them when they're doing it.
Yeah, before they hurt somebody, kill somebody.
Right.
Yeah, even on a boat. I would think it'd be a lot more dangerous on a boat than it'd be in a car. With the amount of people.
Right. There was certainly a different set of logistics.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of DUI patrols. I mean, in our parks, in our fish and wildlife areas, all those places. We did criminal stuff. We did traffic. We did drugs. And drug enforcement. Let me clarify. We didn't do drugs, sir. We
yeah.
Drug enforcement.
I'll edit that out where it sounds like you did drugs.
We did drug enforcement. You name it, we did it. We dealt with domestics. All the stuff that happens in a city happens in some of these places.
Absolutely.
During the summer months. So by August, I couldn't wait to get in a patrol boat. But after weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend, and then I would work my weekends off. They would pay us to do DUI patrols, the equivalent of your DUI EP.
Yeah.
Grant money.
Yep.
And I'd go work Lake Michigan for a weekend.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Or I'd go to some of the natural lakes, like up in Lagrange,
Mhm,
Steuben, some
yeah.
of those places, or we'd go to places that I don't typically go or didn't typically go and get to see.
Right.
Wawasee or Geist
Yeah.
or some of these other places.
Yep. Geist is nice. Well, he's big.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I've been all those.
And the guys that worked that area hated when we'd go over there, though.
Really?
Well, yeah, because we would go over there for a weekend. We didn't live there. We would go over there and write a bunch of tickets, and then we'd leave.
Oh, I thought you meant like the law enforcement.
Oh, no.
When they're talking about
no,
the
our guys.
citizens. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'd go over there and write a bunch of tickets.
Gotcha.
And leave.
So if you wrote a ticket for an OWI at, say, Wawasee, what is that, hour and a half, 2 hours north of here? Do you have to go to court in that county?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoa. So, yeah, I bet the guys did hate that. Did they?
Yeah.
Or-
Either that or they didn't like it because we'd go up there and piss a bunch of their people off.
Yeah.
So the next weekend they would go out there. They'd be rumbling and grumbling that some guys from out of county came up there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a male dog going into another male dog's territory and pissing on a tree or two,
Right.
and then leaving.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Still a good time.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I did that a lot in my younger years. Of course, we got paid overtime for it, and I took every opportunity I could to make a nickel.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yep. You have to, especially making $12,000 annually.
Yep.
You got to do everything you can do to make that extra money.
Yeah. Yeah, we got parity with state police in 1991. I still remember that because
Okay.
that was monumental for me. I think it equated to about a $12,000 a year raise
Mm-hmm. Wow.
overnight, and in 91,
We're rich.
12 grand. Yeah, like, wow, we're making as much
Yeah.
as the state police.
Wasn't DNR one of the first forms of law?
Yeah, here in Indiana, the DNR Law Enforcement Division is the oldest state law enforcement agency. I think it was originally formed in 1911,
Wow.
and I think they
Okay.
had somewhere between 12 and 18 original agents. They were referred to as fish cops.
Yeah. You still
And-
hear about fish cops.
Fish
Yeah.
cops. There
Yep.
you go. That's some of the old game word terminology.
Yep.
And dude, I've been called them all. Possum cop, turtle trooper,
Yeah.
forest fuzz, rabbit ranger, squirrel sheriff, crick dick. Been called them all. But the original ones were fish cops, and
Yep.
the only thing that they were tasked with enforcing were sport and commercial fishing regulations.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of guys they were provided with a badge.
Yeah.
But they wore their own uniform. They drove their own cars.
No. Well, 1911. Yeah, I could.
Yeah. If they had a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a horseback. That'd be kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years and years ago, I don't even know the year. Anyway, before I even got into law enforcement in general, I was still in probably 8th or 9th grade. I wanted to get DNR. That was my goal, to be DNR. And talking with, I lived in Kokomo at the time, talking with some of the Kokomo cops and what I wanted to do, because I had ride-alongs with them to kind of get my foot in the door a little bit. And they told me the first thing, when you become a DNR, don't be a dick. I'm like, okay, they said a lot of them out there have that reputation, just don't be that guy. And I've dealt with some DNR that are just like straight dicks, and others, I say most of them are awesome. But you have the select few that really
Right. You see, that goes back to
Paint
that
that-
battle I was telling you about earlier about what we fought with the outdoor public, the hunters and the fishermen. And,
yeah.
being an asshole in the field, being a dick, what does it mean?
Yeah.
I'm a thinker. What are you saying? Are you saying I'm a dick because I took enforcement action on something you violated and I wrote you a warning or a ticket?
Yeah.
Or are you saying I'm a dick because I violated your rights? I used profanity. I used racist language around you. Are you saying I'm a dick because I unlawfully seized property that I should have taken from you? But
That's a really good point.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if you're saying, and what I was originally going to say, we had that battle sometime among other members of the law enforcement community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I would check cops hunting and fishing all the time. And if if the true measure of being that asshole in the field is you're 100% matter of fact in your business, you don't cut any slack. I was that guy for a long time.
Okay.
Long time. Until I met a few of the guys that were bigger, badder,
Yeah.
smarter. Yeah. Then I realized at that point, and it was 10, 15 years in my career, I realized you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Ah, that's a good point too.
Right.
Yep.
So, it's like I was telling that young lady earlier. I mean, if everybody in your community hated you,
Mhm.
you were probably that dick. You were probably doing too much.
Yeah.
If everybody loved you, you're probably not doing enough,
Yeah.
right? But if you had a good mix, people that didn't care for you, and people that really liked what you did and your mission, but the people that didn't care for you, they didn't care for you because you did what you were supposed to do.
Yep.
I can live with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't have her permission to.
Right.
But there was an officer up north, and she had that. There's some people that hate her, and there's some people that loved her, but she was by the book, and she come up check us bow fishing. And we had her. No, she come up. Yep, no problem. Here's our stuff, and she was awesome. The people that had that negative encounter with her are the people that were shooting bass, didn't have a license,
Yeah.
doing illegal things. The people like, oh, she's a bitch. No, you were doing some shady stuff, and she caught you. That was the outcome of it. We just had a run-in with her last night. She was great. So yeah, that's a huge point when it comes to that.
Yeah. I mean, I told you a couple weeks ago I rode around with the guy that worked in the county that I worked for years.
Yeah.
And I knew everybody. And the funny part about that, so being that hard, fast, black and white guy, that can carry over for a good while because some of those people that I ran into when I rode around with him a couple weeks ago still thought I was working.
Oh,
And
no.
I've been retired for almost 10 years.
Yeah,
So,
that's funny.
yeah. So I was that black and white guy for a good while. But then I started realizing you could still be effective at what you do,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I started gaining some intelligence. I started getting a favor for a favor.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to cut you some slack on this, but you owe me a favor. What kind of favor is that? Well, next time you see somebody doing something, saying something they're not supposed to do, you give me a call, share that information with me, we're done.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long to start developing rapport, developing
Yes.
intelligence, that kind of stuff. So it's just unfortunate it took me that long to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Benton, do you see things now while you're fishing or hunting and you still make that phone call? Or do you kind of like sit back and see what more information you can get?
Me?
Yeah.
I still get phone calls from people.
Do you? Like, hey, I just saw
day.
Joe Blow. They shot a deer out their window.
100%. Matter of fact, I told my boss when I retired, jokingly, I said, when I retire, I'm going to be your biggest pain in the ass because I still have a network of informants. Now,
Yeah.
when they call me, I'm going to call the tip line every time they call me. I'm going to give you the information. You're going to make the arrest, and you're going to pay me $200
Right.
every
I
time
get
I
my-
call the tip line.
There's your chew money.
Yeah,
There's your red man money.
There's my red man
Yeah.
money. Yeah. I said I won't have to sell any more deer nuts. I could give you a piece of information, and I said I want cash. I may have you leave it. I may have you leave it in a phone booth if there's any left at the corner of 4th and Elm at Sunday after midnight. But you're going to leave
That's
it there
funny.
in a brown envelope taped to the underneath side of the seat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But I still have people to this day call. I still carry my commission as a police officer now as a trainer, but I don't do it because I'm actively engaged in frontline law enforcement.
Yeah.
But I tend to be a better witness. Have I
Yeah.
seen some things since I retired? Yeah, but I do what I can to pass it along. Sometimes I just bring it to the people's attention and I move on.
Yeah. Is it hard going from that transition of 31 years of just hammering down
Yeah.
to just brick wall.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
I killed a deer a few years ago with a buddy of mine, and we took it to a processor down in the southeast part of the state, and I was trying to tell this young man exactly how I wanted this deer processed. He said, "We do sausage." And I said, "Okay, I'd like to have some deer sausage." Well, you know, what kind of sausage you do? How much you charge? And he said, "We have so much sausage." He said, "If you want to, I'll sell you a bunch of it." And of course, I'm retired. I'm thinking, oh crap. Well, the guy that was with me was my best friend.
Uh-huh.
Who's currently still a conservation officer.
Oh man. Okay.
And of course, he looked at me and I looked at him and I thought, son of a bitch.
How much you want to sell?
They said, "You want to buy some extra?" I said, "No." I said, I gave him the information. He said, "I'll call you when it's done." As soon as we got back in the truck, we started to drive away, and I told my friend, I said, "Hey, would you do me a favor?" He said, "What?" I said, "Don't raid this guy's processing plant until I get my deer back, okay?" I didn't buy any sausage, so I still run across that stuff. Every
That's
once in a
funny.
while. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be one. You hear it, and you're like, your ears perk up. You're like, gosh, dang it.
Oh, yeah. I still go on point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I still go on point when I hear and it's rare. If I hear a hound, you know, when it's dark,
Yep.
I kind of go on point. When I hear a gunshot, I go on point, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I still do that.
Oh yeah. That's probably never gonna shut off either.
Yeah,
I don't think it would for me.
it's
Right.
tough.
You went over Mac's time.
Sorry.
You beat Mac.
Oh, well, I tend to beat Mac at pretty well
No,
everything,
I won't tell him that.
except for shooting.
That's what he said. He said he can outshoot you any day. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He didn't say. He didn't
He
say it.
could. On weekends, I mean, most of the days during the week, I could pretty well kick his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could shoot well.
But is there any thing you want to plug at all? Any agencies or websites or anything you want to talk about?
No, any and all. The only thing I could say is Godspeed to all our public servants,
Yeah.
police, fire, EMS, particularly law enforcement, because that's where I come from.
Yeah.
It's a different breed, different world out there now. For God's sake, be safe, be careful. Godspeed to everyone. I mean, by God, make sure you go home at the end of your shift.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for everything coming out. Volunteering your time to come
Well,
here
welcome.
after work all day, then coming here and doing this.
It's been fun.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well, alrighty. Almost 8 o'clock. You have work in the morning, don't you?
I got to work. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
Oh shit.
Be a little late.
It's past my bedtime.
Yep, that alarm goes off at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Well, my dog stands on my head at 4, so
Oh, there you go.
there you go.
Well, alrighty. We'll see you later. Be safe. Thanks again.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.